making this announcement in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, being Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, laws of the state of New Jersey. The Planning Board Secretary has prepared a schedule of the meeting of this Planning Board of the Borough of Kenilworth for the year 2026 and has posted a true copy of this schedule on the bulletin board located at the front entrance of Borough Hall, and has mailed true copies of this schedule to the local Source and the Star Ledger, and is maintaining a copy of this schedule in Borough Hall. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regards to this meeting. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Paterno?
Here.
Mayor Karlovic?
Here.
Councilman Scarice?
Here.
Mr. David?
Here.
Mr. Clementi?
Here.
Mr. Mazzio?
Here.
Mr. Ladowdy? Here. Mr. Scuderi?
Here.
And Mr. Crimpoli?
Here.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of March 24th, 26? Motion made by Mr. Scuderi, seconded by Mr. Ladati. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Kathy, are there any communications?
Yes. I want to acknowledge that today we received 42 emails expressing opinions to the proposed Portland Data Center. That's under correspondence. And we received notification from the Department of Community Affairs advising that Daniel Crimpoli successfully completed the mandatory planning board training course.
Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Crimpoli. And duly noted on the correspondence. Okay. What we have in front of us tonight is a, well, before we go there, we have a bit of a discussion for the master plan that we talked about in our workshop. So what do you want to do? You want to, do we need, Mr. DeMarco, do we need to vote on getting that going for the 19th, I believe it was?
No, it's just a calendar event, so you don't
Okay.
need to actually, that just gets scheduled and noticed.
Okay. So, Mr. David, for the record, why don't we just tell the public what we're doing on the 19th?
Well, let me start by saying the board discussed the draft master plan in work session. Full board members who were not part of the master plan committee were given drafts in advance of this evening, ample advance copies of the plan before this evening, and were asked to make any comments or questions they might have on the plan before we finalize the document. So that took place again at the work session. There were no questions or comments. So from there, the board decided that we will, well, let me step back. First, the master plan committee will be meeting on May 5th at 5:30 for our final review. And then the board is setting a public hearing date of May 19th at 7 p.m. On the master plan. The master plan itself, once the final document is ready, will be posted on the borough's website at least 10 days before the public hearing. So for anyone in the public who would like to take a look at it, review it, whatever, in advance of the public hearing, you should have the ability to do that. Our planner, Kevin O'Brien, who worked with the committee over several years to get this document to where it is today, is here. During the work session, he gave a brief overview of what the master plan is, and it's somewhat different than the current master plan in that the old master plan was more or less a single document. The new master plan is broken down into 11 elements. So, Mr. O'Brien, if you could just give a very brief synopsis of the master plan and maybe just touch base on what the 11 elements are, and then we'll wrap it up.
Very good, Mr. Chair. Chairman of the Master Plan Committee, Chairman of the Board. My name is Kevin O'Brien. I served as Borough Planner here for 30 years, and I am finishing up the master plan, our new borough planner and engineer doing a wonderful job, and I commend them on how well they're doing. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be replaced by great people. We are finishing the master plan, as we've said. The land use element, of course, is the core of the master plan. We also have other elements, including community facilities, recreation, sustainability, conservation, circulation, climate change, economic, historic preservation, recycling, and utilities. In addition to that, there is also an approved housing element that was adopted last year. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. That's it.
So just to close out that segment, I just want to again say what a great job that Kevin O'Brien and Adam and all the members that put the master plan together, and we're looking forward to getting this done in 19. So congratulations, nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we have next is application 26. What we have coming up is application 26002, but we need to discuss a format of how this meeting is going to be run. So I put some things together for the planning board, the mayor, governing body, our members of the engineer, the attorney, and the planner, and the public, so we can all follow a format. So what we have in front of us tonight is a preliminary and final major subdivision to divide the parcel of land into 4 different lots. This is a subdivision application, and no site plan proposed or will it be discussed at this meeting. So to repeat that, all we are doing here this evening is to listen to testimony about subdividing this parcel of land. We will not discuss anything that's not applicable to the subdivision. Any proposed site plans will need to come before this board for review and approval at a later date. There will be a time and place for that as well. The public will have the opportunity to ask questions and/or provide comment on the proposed use at that time. So, I'm making it clear. I know there's a lot of people from the public here, but I want to be sure you're in the right forum. This is only to divide the land. In order of what we have to do, so we are all on the same on the same page, and it's a matter of record. Any member of this board that has any type of interest in this property needs to recuse themselves. So I don't see anyone having to do that at this time. The board chairman will ask the applicant and his team to come and present their application. Our board attorney will swear in their experts before they have any testimony provided to us, so you all understand the procedure of what's going on here. Once the testimony is complete, I will then open it up to the board professionals. The board professionals are the engineer, the planner, and the attorney. They are the people that get asked the questions and answers to the applicant and their professionals. And then we have to open that dialogue to the board members. Then we will open it up to the public for their for their questions and or comments. At that time, we'll see how that goes. There are a few rules here that need to be followed with that. Please note, I'm going to say it again, please note that this is a formal proceeding. This is a quasi-judicial meeting, and all participants shall act accordingly. Next, all questions shall be directed to the applicant's professionals and shall be based upon their testimony. The board respectfully asks the audience to listen to other members of the public's questions so that repeated questions can be limited to the maximum extent possible. So, if someone from the public says, "Is the sky blue? Is the sky blue? Is the sky blue?" We've heard it 3 times. the attorney will ask you to move on. All comments and testimony shall be directed to the board through the chair. That would be me. I am the chairman of the board. I will then direct that however it needs to go at that particular time. This way there is no crossfire. Maybe somebody has a thought in the middle section, or somebody up here wants to answer the question. That's not happening. We are going to follow decorum. Public comments will be limited to a reasonable time, 3 minutes. This is what we normally do. However, we need to remain respectful, relevant to the application that we are here to listen to. No decision will be based on information outside of what is presented on the record during this meeting. So I'm going to say it one more time. No decision will be based on information outside of what is presented on the record during this meeting. I'm sure you all understand that. We ask that all electronic devices be silenced and that everyone conduct themselves in a respectful, professional manner so that the board may complete its work efficiently. Thank you very much. I hope we can follow these very simple rules. We are now going to hear application 26002, CoreWeave Incorporated, Major Subdivision, 2000 Galloping Hill Road, Block 182, Lot 100102. Mr. Hale.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, board professionals, and members of the public. Stephen Hale, representing the applicant, CoreWeave. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that explanation. Yes, we are here this evening for a 4-lot subdivision to divide the property that CoreWeave owns into 4 separate parcels. As the chair has noted, there is no site plan included in this application, so there's no improvements. If in the future there is going to be further development of the property, that would be on a site plan application, on notice, and a public hearing at that time. So what our plan is this evening is to call upon our surveyor to take us through the subdivision plan. And that's going to be the limit of our presentation. We have received the reports from your board professionals, and we don't have any problem complying with any of those terms and conditions. And we'll add, obviously, under the redevelopment plan, the present use of the property as a data center is permitted use. That issue is not before the board this evening, just the subdivision. And also, there is no variance relief that's requested or required as part of dividing this property into 4 parcels. It's totally conforming, and again, we have no problem with the comments that your board professionals have made. So with that as an overview, I'd like to call upon our professional surveyor, Matt, one, see the best spot to go to. I'm going to call upon Matt Sipple from Langen Engineering, a professional land surveyor, to take us through the division of the property.
Mr. DeMarco.
Simple. Do you swear that the testimony about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Sipple, if you could please provide the board and members of the public with your background, license to hold, whether you qualified as a professional land surveyor before the boards and courts of the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening, board. So, my name is Matthew Sipple. I'm a licensed professional land surveyor, state of New Jersey. Graduated in 2009 from NJIT, licensed in 2012. Since that time, I presented in front of a dozen boards, City of Newark, Elizabeth, Woodland Park, Kearney, been accepted as an expert. I provided testimony related to subdivisions very similar to this one. My license is current. I recently just updated. April 30th is the cutoff date for the biennial.
I think the board is satisfied with your credentials. Can you please spell your last name?
Sipple, S-I-P-P-L-E.
S-I-P-P?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sipple. You can continue.
And so Mr. Sipple, obviously well familiar with the project here. If you could take board, members of the public and board professionals through the proposed subdivision. I know you have a mounted version of the
Yes.
plan.
And I have reduced exhibits, so I do have some exhibits I'm going to share. So this here is Exhibit A. This is a cleaned up copy of the subdivision plan. There are a lot of utilities and a lot of other required information. So to simplify this, I decided to create, just an exhibit showing existing conditions. So this entire parcel was previously owned by Merck, and a few years ago they had sold it to another firm, which, or at the beginning of last year, we did a subdivision which created these two lots. So this application is only for the lots that are not shaded. The shaded lots are currently owned by somebody else and not part of this application. So we have kind of an oddly shaped lot, but that's sort of based on the existing conditions out there. When Merck owned the entire property, they had a lot of projects, they built a lot of buildings, they have courtyards, utilities, and a lot of these property lines were designed around those utilities and courtyards and sidewalks. So what we're proposing to do is take this single lot right here, which is 35 acres, or almost 36 acres, and divide it into 4 separate lots, all conforming in size, but 4 separate lots for future purposes.
And so that, we want to mark both sides A and then B?
Yeah, this side's B.
Okay.
So this is Exhibit B. Exhibit B is a proposed configuration where instead of one single lot, we now have four lots.
And as indicated at the outset, there were no site improvements proposed at this time in connection with this subdivision?
Correct. This is just for the land, just for separating the parcels of land.
And this, again, is a variance-free application. It meets all requirements of the redevelopment plan and applicable zoning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
And we touched upon it, I indicated in my opening, that you've received the reports from both Center State Engineering, Darren Lucier, and HGA from MECA. You've had an opportunity to review those reports. I know they're in the
Yes.
technical nature. Any problem complying or agreeing to all of those terms and conditions?
No problems complying to all those
Okay.
requests.
And again, just briefly touch on, they're technical in nature, is that?
They're very technical in nature, yes.
Okay. That will not impact the subdivision plan itself?
No, yeah, it's very technical in nature. Most have to do with certain items on the zoning table and property corners. There were a couple property corners that were inaccessible for setting, so.
Not to simplify, Mr. Chairman, but that's the extent of our application this evening for the 4-lot conforming subdivision.
That's all you have for now, Mr.
That's-
Huff?
Yep, correct.
Okay. We would talk to our professionals with questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, excuse me, Mika, I'm sorry, I think we need to have you guys sworn in tonight.
Okay.
Do you, Darren, and Mika
Thank you.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you, you can proceed, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mr. Hale said, our office had provided a memo dated dated April 24, 2026. The application was deemed to be capable of being deemed complete on March 13th. The applicant is requesting about 5 application checklist items waivers. Given the type of application, our office has no objection in board granting those waivers to deem them complete. Other than that, as testified today, there were some technical clarifications that we needed in our memo, and Mr. Sippel has provided that they will be complying with that.
They were satisfied.
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else?
Board, the engineering review letter went out April 24th, 2026. Mr. Sippel said that he would address all comments. The one question I did have, he did address in his testimony of why certain property corners weren't set as part of the last application, but it seems like they were not accessible. So I just asked that the owner make his best effort to get to those property corners set as part of the subdivision.
Okay.
Is that all you have, Mr. Mazzi?
That's it.
Okay. So, from what I heard from everybody, right now there is a clean application, there's no waivers, there's no hardships, nothing like that. It's just a subdivision, correct? Okay. At this point, I think we're basically going to open this to the public.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the hearing be open to the public. Comments and questions?
So moved.
The motion was made by Mr. David, seconded by Mr. Ladati. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone from the public wishing to speak on this subdivision and this subdivision only, please come up to the microphone, state your name, your address, spell your last name for the record. Seeing none. No one from the public wishes to speak.
Okay, I make a motion to,
Oh, sorry, sir, I saw you, I didn't see, I saw you go back and forth.
Sorry, I was confused because I thought this meeting would be about the data center itself, not the subdivision.
No, that's why I tried to make
Thank
it.
you.
Excuse me, we're gonna create order. At the beginning of the meeting, I stated exactly why we were here. This way, you could understand, it was also
When
posted.
will the meeting for the data center?
Sir, hold, stop. First and foremost, state your name and your address.
Okay, my name is Tim Udovicic. I live in Springfield, a neighboring town, as you guys know.
Okay.
When will the data center meeting be?
Can you spell your last?
Why?
We need it for the record, sir.
Okay, U-D-O-V-I-C-I-C. Okay,
Thank
can you answer my question now?
What's your question?
You didn't hear it correct. Okay, when will the meeting for the data center be?
So that's, Mr.
you. Yeah, so an application for the site plan for the data center has not been filed. Because one has not been filed, there is no meeting set.
Let me ask you something. All the news reports are saying it's already under construction. Is that accurate?
I know there's construction on them.
Wait, is there construction on the data center itself or just construction on the?
I'm not the contractor, sir. I'm the-
Does anybody know this?
Sir, this is not how this goes.
I'm gonna ask you to do, if there's people talking in the background, I'm gonna ask you one more time. We don't need to have a push and pull. I know your concerns, I understand why you're here, but just hear me one time. We are here for a subdivision. We're not here to talk about are they putting soda bottles or water bottles on the property. We're not here to talk about anything but, excuse me. We are here to talk about subdividing the property. When the applicant, if they so choose, decides to come before the board, it will be noticed, they'll tell you when, and they will tell you what. But right now, we don't have that information. And that's why I said, we're here to discuss the subdivision, sir.
Okay, so you don't know if they started building it?
They can't build anything according to this application.
So the
There's
news report for
nothing,
this
there's
meeting-
nothing going on with this application, sir.
Okay.
Just the subdivision.
Why? They're ripping up all the streets.
Excuse me, ma'am, we will not have, you will have a turn to talk if you like, but we need to stay controlled. This forum here tonight is for a subdivision, nothing else, nothing else. You may have thoughts in your head, what you think, what you see, what you don't, but it's not here tonight, sir.
Can I get it on the record? You stated that they did not start building for the data center.
I'm saying that this application before us is for a subdivision on the record. Has nothing to do what they are gonna do with that future subdivision tonight. When they decide to do what they wanna do, sir, they will come, file an application, and I think you should come back then.
And how will we be alerted?
Well, it's posted, everything is on the website, the same way you learned about it
I had
tonight.
to learn through social media 4 days before this was happening.
Before we all do that again, okay? There's an application that is filed. Then it is posted. And how many days is that ahead of time, Kathy?
Before the meeting that they're gonna be approved, it's gonna be at least 10 days before the meeting where you're going to hearing.
Can I ask if CoreWeave is a data center company?
I can't answer any of those questions, sir. I'm here tonight to tell you that they're here. I'm here tonight, one more time, to tell you all that this is a subdivision, and we will not talk about anything else tonight. When that time comes, sir,
You're gonna have your day here to ask every question that you want, but it's not tonight.
Okay.
It's typical to going to the candy store and ordering a porterhouse steak. It's not tonight. This is not the forum. I'm sorry that you're here and you thought it was something else, but you're gonna have your chance to speak.
Okay,
You will. I mean, you can speak now about this,
I
but,
don't know anything about that, but yeah.
okay, and I can appreciate that.
All right.
But it's just a subdivision, and taking a piece of land, cutting it up into 4 pieces, and that's it.
Okay, well, that takes up my time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? All right, we have a lot of hands. Can we start here?
Patricia Fugit, 21 North 6th Street, Kenilworth. You are trying to tell us that we're all here today for 4 pieces of property, and nothing is accepted, nothing is planned on this property. Am I correct at this point?
You heard the testimony of
Is
the,
that correct? Yes or
you
no?
heard the testimony of the attorney, and you heard the testimony of the chairman of the board that is telling you on the record that all we here is subdividing the land. Nothing else. There's no-
If you're just dividing the land, the
Right.
property we're
Right.
solo, isolated to know about,
Mhm.
then why are you digging up dirt? Why are you
Ma'am, I'm going to
wasting
caution
good
you,
dirt?
Mr. DeMarco, you cannot speak to whatever they're doing out there. All we are talking about, do you understand the procedure here?
You're gonna let them do whatever they want, and then you're gonna slam us and say, oh, well, now we're gonna put this on. We prepared it already.
Can we do this? Can we do this? Tonight, we're here to subdivide the property.
That's what we're
In,
talking
in,
about.
in the future, when they decide to come back and talk about what they're gonna do, all of you should come back and talk about it then. But it's not tonight. I'm sorry?
It may be too late.
Nothing gets done without an approval. Nothing gets done without an approval. So I'm going to stop this dialogue because I feel like it's getting churned up. I'm going to say it for all of you one more time so we can all understand it. We're here to divide the property. That's it. We're not saying, hey, go and put a Ferris wheel out there. They're not allowed. They can't do anything but divide the property. They're going to take some
You let
string.
people come in, builders not builders, all these giant cranes and everything that you see.
That has
out
nothing to
there.
do with this application,
You're
ma'am.
letting
That has
them
nothing to, I have to
fix
caution
the
you. That has nothing to do with this application. Please, it has nothing to do with
The
it.
application is the property.
Yes.
So, ma'am, this board's jurisdiction, what it's talking about tonight is only what was noticed, right? The only application, the only topic that the applicant, the property owner, or we asked for this board was for approval to allow it to subdivide the property.
So the property subdivided.
All they asked for of this board tonight is for approval to subdivide the property. That's all they asked for. They did not ask for any use, size, scope, or anything. So all this board is limited to what was asked of this board. That's the applicant that came in. So
Okay,
the board is restricted from
okay.
commenting or doing other
We-
things.
We are here tonight,
Correct.
we are looking, just like you are, to the future.
Yeah.
So you're digging up dirt.
This board is not taking up any
You're
dirt.
digging, well, who's out there bringing up all that
They,
dirt?
the property owner, is
There's
doing.
people out there with equipment
I-
building dirt.
Okay, but you keep saying that we are not taking up dirt. We are here.
You allowed somebody to go, if somebody came on my property and dug up dirt, I'd say, what the hell are you doing on my property?
Okay, we're done. We're done. I don't want to be rude. Your 3 minutes is up. I'm sure somebody else will come up and probably reiterate the same thing. But when you come up, you have to understand we are only here to subdivide the property. So if you want to hear the same thing over and over, that's what we're going to tell you. We're only here to subdivide the property. Thank you very much. Your time is up. Ma'am?
I said 3 minutes. My name is Brittany LaRosa.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Could you please speak up?
Brittany LaRosa,
Yes.
LAROSA. I'm a resident. I'm here to express concern specifically about the applicant's proposal to subdivide the property into 4 lots. I am here to express concern specifically about the applicant's proposal to subdivide the property into 4 lots. My concern is that this subdivision appears to be more than just a technical change. It effectively breaks one large development into multiple smaller parcels. This raises the question whether the true scale or impact of the overall project is being segmented in a way that avoids stricter oversight. If this were to be evaluated as a single unified project, the board and the public would be able to fully assess the cumulative impacts. By dividing it into 4 lots, there's a risk that each portion is reviewed in isolation rather than as part of a larger coordinated development. I would like clarification from the applicant on why this subdivision is necessary and whether it is being used to facilitate phased approvals, future expansions, or separate variances that might not be otherwise be granted if the project remained whole. Additionally, subdividing the property may allow for incremental development over time, making it difficult for the board and residents to fully understand and evaluate the long-term impacts on the community, including infrastructure, noise, and land use consistency. Zoning and subdivision rules exist to ensure transparency and proper planning. If the end result is effectively one large data center complex, then it should be reviewed and regulated as such, not divided into small components that may understate its true scope. For these reasons, I respectfully ask the board to carefully scrutinize the purpose and consequence of this subdivision and consider whether the application should be evaluated as a single comprehensive development rather than multiple separate lots. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Why not please state your name and spell your last name for the record, please. I'm sorry? And address, I'm sorry.
Emma Newberger, N-U-B-E-R-G-E-R. I'm at 438 Locust Ave in Berwick. And my question is for you.
For who?
Mayor Karlovic.
Oh, Mayor Karlovic, I'm sorry.
I would like to know if there is no proposed use
Well,
for the
this
property
is
yet.
not so much a question-answer type
If
thing.
there is no proposed use for the property yet, why are you on Facebook talking about it as if it's fact?
Yes.
And as if it is
So Mayor,
I just, for the record, I would like to say that what we are doing right now is participating in democracy and the attitude of everyone here as though it is this condescending attitude, as though it is annoying for each one.
I'm going to have to step in here. First of all, I am also a resident of this town, and you are not. And I am very concerned.
My father was
Let's just bring it down a notch, and you and I can have a little bit of a dialogue. Nothing gets done at this board level without the proper application, without the proper material that's brought in front of us, without everything being the way it's supposed to be. Doesn't matter what anyone said here tonight. It doesn't matter that the gentleman before you said, I thought I was going to be here for something else. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Why
matter
we
that
are
the mayor
here.
is online saying
No,
these
it
things
doesn't
are
matter.
facts.
Why we are
Why
here
does it
tonight,
matter?
why we are here tonight is for a subdivision. And I'm going to ask you to, when they come back, if they come back, when it happens, come back and voice your opinion at that point. But not tonight. This is not the forum. You're
I just
speaking,
wanted to point out the discrepancy.
you brought it out, we're done. Thank you very much. Next, anyone else?
Hello.
Hi, my name's Christine Giordano, 27 North 22nd Street, Kenilworth. I want to just commend her for the It still denies why it's being divided into 4.
And now I understand what the meeting is about tonight, but I have to echo what she said. Constantly on Facebook, there's talk about the sales tax and all that. Not talked about the 50 million that there's accredited for tax for them per year for 5 years. I think that if we're gonna have another meeting to talk about this AI, put it on Facebook as prevalent as this meeting has been.
So, Mr. Giordano, I have to explain that to you as well. When the applicant comes before us and files an application, that's when we will know. When they do that, that's when we will know, and then you and everyone else will be notified. So that's the way it is.
Yeah, I get it, but I just think like there was a lot put on Facebook by members on this committee right here, making people believe that that was part of the meeting. So those main advertisements should continue when they're going to talk. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello, my name's Renee Roman. I live in Linden, so 716 Summit Street. I'm concerned about a lot of what's going on, and I called earlier today. I spoke with Kathy. Kathy was crystal clear explaining to me today's discussing the subdivide. So thank you for that, because I would have also been sharing other things that other people were saying. My concern is for the subdivide. So if we're looking at this piece of property, what does this say, Exhibit B? So what's in white has the opportunity to be subdivided, or what's in gray has the opportunity to be subdivided for? In white, okay. So that's a thought for the future. Okay, what's in white has the opportunity to be divided into 4 parts. What's the future going to hold for those gray parts? And who's holding on to that property now? Merck is not currently holding on to that property, so something to think about. This is a letter that was sent to a resident of Kenilworth, and it says, please take note that on Tuesday, April 28th, 7 p.m., here in this location, the planning board will hold a public hearing on the application of CoreWeave. So this is an applicant for preliminary and final major subdivision approval. So I guess the thing that's a little confusing is CoreWeave is into the AI world, right?
Well,
so,
CoreWeave is the name of the applicant, and what it says, we're here to they want to subdivide their property.
Yes.
And that's what we're listening to.
Thank you. You've said that before, and I thank you for repeating that now.
Thank you.
Okay, but we obviously have concerns, right? Here in CoreWeave, and they're in relation with data centers, we're all like, wait, what's going on? So even when you said, hey, we're here for the subdivide, the subdivide, the subdivide.
There we go.
We're here for CoreWeave and the data center. Respectfully, I'm going to say one more thing. Please don't interrupt me.
No, I'm not going to interrupt you.
You
but
just
it's
did.
interesting.
Really quick.
It's interesting that you will come up here and say, I read it and I know it's a subdivision, but I'm here anyway because I don't like what I'm hearing.
No, it's not that I don't like what I'm hearing. I'm concerned for the future. Respectfully, you guys have all lived your best days. A lot of people here in this room, And I said respectfully, I'm not trying to be rude, but we're concerned for our future. We're concerned for our future, for your generations that are coming after you, right? This is a very valid concern. Yes, the subdivide.
Okay.
We're here for the subdivide, for what's in white, the subdivide in the future of the gray. All concerns, okay?
Good.
You have a resident back here that received this letter. What is RSIS? And that's not even identified what this is in the letter. So you're sending this to a resident. How does he know what this means? He's not a lawyer. You need a lawyer to understand this letter that went out to residents. It's concerning. We have many concerns here, but I know that the concern is the subdivide.
That's great. Thank you. Well, we're here. Who's next? Come on up. Oh, I'm sorry. There was somebody. No, come on, man. I'm sorry. I didn't see the name.
My name is Dawn Zahner, Z as in zebra, E-H-N-E-R. Next door in Union. My dad worked in Kenilworth for 20 years, and I have many friends that live in Kenilworth. And I apologize in advance because I am going to bring something up that we're not here to discuss, but I know for a fact CoreWeave is building. I have someone who is an electrician who works for Union who is currently working this very moment at CoreWeave on the data center. Just wanted that to be on the record.
Thank you very much. Name, address, and spell your last name for the record, please.
Alexandra Liggett, Liggatt, 800 Kimball Avenue, Westville. I'm a physician. I work in the area. I do home health care. I'm here to advocate for my patients that live in Kennel, who are subject to the pollution, noise pollution, and studies that have shown that AI data centers adversely affect human beings' health, right? So I'm here, I understand that this is about subdivision. I want to commend this young lady for bringing that up, and I hope we get an answer to her question about what does subdivision mean, right, for overall scope of being able to understand what's happening. I hope we're going to get an answer to that, but apparently not. Lastly, I'd like to say that I think your attitude is confrontational. I do not think that you are creating a forum that works together with the people that you're supposed to represent. I think using a candy store and a Coke bottle as an example in such a huge, monumentous occasion in these people's lives that will affect our health, our children's health, is demeaning and ridiculous. And I think you ought to be ashamed.
Thank you very much. Hello. I had better days.
Actually, I'm up here to discuss this letter that we received.
Can we have your name and address for your record?
It's Patricia, last name is Ricker, Ricker.
Thank you.
I would really, really appreciate it if you could please explain paragraph 3. Because when I read paragraph 3, especially the RSIS, when I read this paragraph, I read it 10 times. What it's saying to me is, we can do anything we want, whenever we want, doesn't make any difference what you say, we're gonna just go ahead and do it. So could you please explain that to me?
Can you tell me? Can you tell me what letter you're reading?
Notice to be served on owners of property affected, we live at 140,
What's it?
this letter right here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know what you were referencing. I don't.
Want me to give this to you? so you
No,
read it?
no.
Okay, so I would appreciate it if you could explain to me and everybody else in this room what exactly that means.
So I would have to yield to you, Mr. DeMarco.
So that is that's a standard form. It's like a boilerplate, that paragraph. So an applicant has to put a notice in the paper to advise people within 200 feet who have an interest what they're doing, what they're applying for. So the first paragraph where it says thus subdivide, that is there, right? Where it says the other things. That other paragraph is a catch-all. It says, hey, after we put our application in, should one of the planners, the engineer, or myself say, you missed something, you didn't notice a variance or a thing of that nature, that's an attempt by the applicant to make sure that there was notice that had the catch-all in there.
So basically, it's a cover your butt.
Yeah, exactly.
Traditionally, yes, but before everyone flips, right? In this application, we reviewed it, meaning the planner, the engineer, myself, planning board secretary, zoning officer. There were no variances or deviations or anything within that catch-all. Traditionally, what happens is if we catch one of them, we will say, hey, you need to go back out and re-notice, resend, redo, because you did, right? So that is standard form that applicants, attorneys, and that's who sends you the notice, right? That's their obligation to send you the notice. They do it, the CYA, right? That's the purpose. In this matter, there were none. They put in what is referred to as a clean application. It means it's a subdivision. It meets all of the zoning-based requirements that the city, the borough, the town has set up for a subdivided property.
So basically, if there is an issue, we're never gonna know about it anyways.
No, if there was an issue, we would have called it out and they would have had to put more proofs on or more detail or explanation, or they would have had to ask for a variance or and held to a higher standard or a higher proof. this lot, this application, are big lots, so they meet the lot requirements, they meet the size requirements, and there's really limited review done by this board on a subdivision. On a site plan, when you're actually building stuff, or when you're actually planning or designing stuff, it's a much more deeper scrutiny, right? We do this on a lot of our larger lots in town, those older lots where people have 100 by 200 lot, they come in, they split it right down the middle,
I understand.
right? This is similar. I know there's a different product that's potentially on this, or that's allowed on this, that's coming, that everyone's worried about. But today's application is really drawing lines on a piece of paper.
Okay, may I ask Mr. Simple a question?
Absolutely.
Just a real quick question. You said that those 4 lots have been zoned or not zoned?
It's all under zoning.
It's all under zoning?
Everything is zoned.
What were they zoned for?
I'm not familiar with that. I know this entire tract was in one zone as one piece.
Okay, but if you separated into 4 lots, because that affects where we live. So I just want to know what they're zoned for. And if the zone, what they're zoned for, is that written in stone or is it going to be changed at some point?
That is, I'm not a planner, so I don't know actually what
Okay,
these
so
zones
she
are.
hasn't done that.
Yeah, so there's an existing redevelopment plan, so there's underlying zoning for those lots.
Okay, so I guess we're not going to find out until you actually get something.
No, you can go find out what the zoning is for those
Why
lots.
can't you?
Why don't you go?
Obviously, they're not going to tell us.
No, it's a whole redevelopment plan, there's a lot of things that you go with.
What's it zoned for? Is it industrial? Is it for homes? Is it manufacturing? Is it an Amazon Prime place? I don't know. That's what I'm asking. What is it
Chairman,
zoned
I
for?
don't know if you want the planner to answer that.
Mika, would you just give and I just want to express that your questions are all good, valid, and that we're giving you extra time because that may be, no, that's fine. It's just, there's other people that may want to speak, but we just know that what you are concerned with is relative to dividing the lot, and that's why we're giving you the time that you need.
I don't want to be acknowledged. I did not say anything else.
Mika?
So this block and lot, the entire known as Block 188, Lot 1, is under 2000 Galloping Hill Road redevelopment plan, which was adopted by the borough. The permitted zoning bulk standards under this, and I'm referring to the document, the principal permitted uses are research and development, labs including life
Okay,
sciences.
so research and development, which means there's going to be some type of manufacturing.
These are all, I'm just reading all the permitted uses under this redevelopment plan that anybody developing this site would be allowed to do.
Okay, so this paragraph basically says, even though I know what you said, we can go almost anywhere, and that zoning means really nothing because it can go almost anywhere.
No, so ma'am, the zone is going to allow somebody who's gonna come to develop this site. The zone kind of lists what are the uses you're permitted to do. It doesn't kind of say, all right, you're permitted to do, so go start construction. The general law, land use law requires every applicant, especially commercial, industrial applicant, they have to file an application with the municipal planning board, come before the board, do a review, the board professionals do review, have a public meeting. If there are variances, they'll have to put testimony. Once they have approval, they go through the whole, kind of adjustment based on that. And then,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't trust you guys. Sorry, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from the public? Good evening.
Good evening. Cindy Momola, 731 Vernon Avenue. So the other day I looked out my window and I saw this massive thing of smoke coming out of the Merck location. It looked like a nuclear bomb went off. And I'm wondering, what is this? So with your zones and whatever you're doing, what have you actually committed to in that area? So have you committed to them moving in to put that 720, that 7 football fields worth of AI in there? Have you already committed to that? Because this is a waste of time. Like they're putting all that electric in, they're ripping up all the streets, they're doing everything around me, and we're not blind. And what are they doing then? If this is not committed to, what's going on then? I'd like to know, because I don't want to be looking out my window and seeing this massive nuclear bomb blowing up every friggin' month with your water bill and your friggin' electric and all this stuff. So what's going on? Like, have you committed to this already?
So.
To the zoning, wherever you put it in there?
So, I can only answer you this way.
Okay.
The application before us is to subdivide the land. We
No.
cannot talk to that. We have to follow a rule here.
Is it a
And when
secret?
you're gonna have a chance to talk about all of
But is
this.
it a secret? What was this
No,
meeting
no,
for?
it's not a.
Everybody's here for that
it's-
reason, and now
but-
you're blowing
but-
it off because you have no
No,
answers?
we're not blowing it off.
Why? What have you committed to? That's all I want to know. I'm only asking, what have you committed to? Have
Engineer?
you?
Ma'am, one thing, and Mika was reading from the redevelopment plan.
What?
Mika was reading from the redevelopment plan, which is
I
their
can't
zoning.
understand. I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
So where I'm gonna get at is, the redevelopment plan is located on the borough website. There's up to 15 permitted uses for the site. The applicant hasn't.
I don't want to hear about the borough website. I want to hear from you guys. What is the commitment here?
Ma'am,
there is
you
no
know what?
commitment.
I didn't get a letter.
You
I
want-
didn't get the 200
You
feet
wanna let
letter.
him finish.
Yeah, but
You
I don't
do,
go
you
on
do.
the website.
You want him to
Okay,
finish.
all
The
right.
reason why I'm trying to bring up the website is a lot of your questions of what's permitted here, what can be done, subdivision is in that document that's already been adopted. It was adopted last year. The subdivision's based off of that.
You know what? The only thing I heard about is the real estate management bought that land, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing, hey, oh, they're putting an AI thing on there. Where was the notification? I couldn't even see where did you notify us? Did you send letters that we're putting an AI over there? What did you do? How did you notify us? I live, like, I could see it. I'm a quarter mile away from it. I didn't get a letter. We're putting an AI in there. Where did that come from?
So at this time, the applicant hasn't presented their case if they're gonna put A on or not, but it's a permitted use. What I'm trying to say, let me finish, please.
That's not true, because there's a whole list of things that are done already.
Let me finish, please. What I'm trying to get at is the permitted uses are listed in that redevelopment plan. I'm trying to let the public know. It'd be very beneficial for you guys to look at the plan as well before they come back.
What plan?
There's the redevelopment plan on the borough website, which Mika read.
Oh.
I'll read the name of it
So
for
do
you
I have
again.
a PhD to read that? Why can't you just simply tell me what you were committed to? That's all I'm asking for.
There is not a commitment in
Did you commit to
there.
putting the AI over there? That's
It's
all
a
I wanna know.
permitted use, is what I'm saying, but they haven't presented their application.
What
yet.
have you committed to all these subdivisions? What's committed? On Facebook, obviously, it was the AI. So what you're telling me it wasn't?
They haven't committed at this time.
Oh, they haven't?
No.
Who's paying for the substation? Yeah.
That's a question I could not answer.
Okay. Can somebody answer something?
I didn't
Instead
hear
of
your
pushing us
question.
off to the next meeting?
I didn't hear your question.
No, it was his question. It was her question. Who's paying for it?
Well,
You're
Oh,
here.
you're not? Oh.
No. Ma'am, you're at the podium.
All right.
Your time is up.
Well,
Thank
she had a good question.
you. When she can come up.
All right. Whatever.
Thank you very much.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Christine Bennett. You need me to spell the last name?
It would be helpful.
All right, Bennett. And
you.
I live at 368 Coolidge Drive in Kenilworth. I only have one question, and I'm assuming it would be for the attorney. Is anyone on the council or the council as a whole beholden to an NDA with CoreWeave?
So I'm the planning board attorney, so I would not know about the council. The council has their own attorney. So
We're not council.
this is the planning board, not the council.
Okay, revise. Is anybody on the planning board beholden to an NDA with CoreWeave?
The planning board does not operate that way. The planning board is one of the other problems with why this board is hesitant to talk about uses and other topics is because it cannot prejudge that application before it gets here. So the application that's here is all we can talk about. We can't say, but if they come next month, I'm not gonna blah, 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 blah. I can't do that because they haven't presented their case. Right? It's almost like a little mini trial.
Okay.
So these members do not do NDAs or the application gets submitted, They put up on the website all the applications, all the exhibits 10 days before, and that is how this board operates.
Okay.
It's a different format.
Got it. And so the application that we're discussing is 26002-002, right? So it is a submitted application.
Correct.
Okay. And you can submit an application even if you have no contract for the land.
You can get permission, you don't need to be the actual property owner to submit an application for a subdivision. You can be a contract purchaser, or you can get permission from the owner. You do it many ways, but that could occur.
Okay. So is CoreWeave the applicant, the owner, or they're requesting on behalf of somebody else?
I believe they're the owner of the property.
They're the owner of the property. When did that happen?
To clarify, because this is a redevelopment plan, only a designated redeveloper can develop this property.
Okay.
And I believe the applicant has mentioned that CoreWeave, as the applicant, is the designated redeveloper for this property.
When did that happen?
That's an action done by the municipal council, and I think that was done last year.
When's the next municipal council meeting? Does anybody know? No plans, no general time that the next municipal.
First and third Wednesdays of the month.
First and third Wednesdays of the month.
May
All right.
6th.
May 6th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Introduce myself. My name is Will Philly. I'm running for office in Cranford, New Jersey, and I came here.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please address the board? Can you please address the board? Thank you. Are you done? Are you finished?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Then address the board and not the audience, sir. Address the board and not the audience, sir.
We want to know where we want to spend our time?
We want to know what your questions are for the board, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We want to know what your questions are, sir. Can you state your name and your address and spell your last name for the record? Can you please state your name and address?
I'm $250 million taxpayers. Why these are happening? $250 million tax base.
There you
break
go.
that gets kicked back to the political bosses.
There you
That's
go.
why these deals happen. That's why the overdevelopment's happening all over our state. You have
Yes,
a tremendous
no,
grant.
it's inside.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good job. Anyone else?
My name is Clara Halt, Halt. I live at 362 Franklin Avenue here in Kenilworth. I am deeply curious why a single owner of a property needs to subdivide a location into 4 separate locations in order, if they're not planning to sell them. If they're all going to be under the same zoning, it does not, to me, seem like it is necessary to split it into 4 additional properties.
I mean, there are many reasons why a property owner may want to subdivide. It could be for financing purposes. It could be for, to your point, a future sale. It could be, it will get developed differently. There might be joint ventures, maybe different ownership structures on each property. That is beyond the purview of this board. We do not get into the finances of a project. The planning board does not look at the financials or the financing or how a financial structure of property functions. What it looks at is whether or not that is a proper subdivision. That's it.
Thank you. I do also want to add that you are deeply condescending. I do not appreciate everything. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Deborah Graham, 711 Vernon Avenue, Kenilworth. I have 2 questions. The subdivision, where the 4 white pieces are, Is that closer to Union or is it closer to Market Street?
Mr. Stipple?
So it's on the Galloping Hill Road side, it's closer to the parkway.
Closer to the Parkway? And I also wanted to ask, I know that you said that right now, you don't know that anything's going in there. If CoreWeave decides that they want to ask the council to put in a data center, will the townspeople be notified
Yes.
prior to that?
They will have to file an application. And then once they file an application, that starts the clock. They have to go through all the procedures. Once they go through all the procedures, then yes, it is public knowledge.
And how will we find out? Will we get letters in the mail? How will we be notified?
Mayor's Facebook.
No, I'm not going on there. I want something so I could see it like in the mail, or I want to be notified. I don't go on Facebook to see that.
Right, only property owners within 200 feet.
I'm a property owner.
Are you within 200 feet of the property?
I'm on Vernon, so I'm close. I don't know.
I can't personally answer that, but property owners that are within 200 feet of the property will be notified by letter, just like the woman who came up with, was asking the question about the paragraph. Other people will have to get notified through the website, through public, discussion, things of that nature, and it is advertised as well.
Okay, and will the townspeople have a say on whether we want it to go in or not, or it's just the council that makes the decision?
No, if it's an application before the planning board, this board will decide whether it will approve or not approve that
So the
particular
planning
application.
board approves it, the council has nothing to do with it?
If a application is made before this board, then yes, this board will hear it.
So it's the
and
planning
decide.
board?
Right.
Okay, that's all I had to ask. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sophia Jarrett. I'm a resident of Elizabeth, New Jersey at 751 Westfield Avenue. I don't know why that is applicable because everyone can attend the council meeting. So CoreWeave is going within a 5-mile radius to my home. I have a few questions. The first one being, who's paying for the substations?
I'm just gonna say it one more time, this board does not deal with the financials of the project.
Right, so there are supposedly all these bills through the state of New Jersey that's going to cover our behinds, right? None of them are passed. You can't get blood from a stone, you understand that? We have $15,000, most of us, in housing taxes. We have to feed our families, we have to pay over $4 in gas, and now you want us to take the electricity bill that's incumbent, and you can't answer these questions? I would like another question answered beside that. My second question is, with this closed loop system, it's going to power all of Union County, which is over 220,000 houses. So I remember last summer when it was a brownout, and PSE&G, who are very good fiduciaries for their stockholders, but not the social network that props them up, right? We have to pay for the people who don't pay, and we have to pay for the backdoor deals that we don't see, correct? Yeah, I know. Who is going to pay for the brownouts and suffer through the brownouts? And who is going to take the load of the lowered electricity that they do to power other things? Would it be the consumer who pays the way? Or would it be CoreWeave, who has a lot of CapEx? And the water, we could talk about the water as well. So what?
This board
Uh-huh.
cannot discuss.
So you can't discuss the financials that you're putting on people.
This board's jurisdiction and the rules that govern this board, the
Mhm.
statutes that are given to it, the financial considerations of a project are not considered in determining whether or not to approve a project or to approve a subdivision. Those are the regulations that the board does it.
They have already bought the property. They already are getting substations. You could dance around this all day.
I'm not dancing around it.
You are.
I'm explaining to you that this planning board has limited power, limited jurisdiction, and limited things. So
You have the power to make this go through.
it's a subdivision application. That is what's here.
Okay, because on CoreWeave's website, they have already put in the subdivision, the substation, and they're gonna have 2 permanent PSE&G employees there. So like, what you're telling me is a lot of rigmarole, okay? No, this is New Jersey.
I know where I am now. I do. And I know you asked a question about the financials of the project. What I keep trying to explain to you is this board is prohibited from having a discussion on the financials of the project.
I understand what you're saying, but this is New Jersey and the same rigmarole, and people are taxpayers here. Regardless if you think things are good for your city, remember this, other people around here live in different areas. We won't shop in Kenilworth. We will not support your businesses. This is done.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Annette Dimondopoulos, and I live in Cranford, New Jersey. I just want to say that I have hope that we can stand with some semblance of unity here and some sense of humanity. Because I watched the April 24th, 2025 meeting when CoreWeave, in regards to this division, future division, pitched a data center. I listened to the questions asked by this committee, one of which was, do you have plans to expand into the other areas? And they said, yes, we do. So I want to encourage everyone here to go back and watch. And I'm going to ask you to consider very deeply what price you will put on lives, on children's lives, on your parents' lives, on your lives. What dollar amount is worth a life? We will all pitch in from every town to make this town work if we need to. Please don't sell us out, because this subdivision is for the very reason of expanding someone's pocket with complete disregard for the health and well-being of all the individuals that live near it. I want you to consider the future, because there is no future after this data center goes in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Bob Herbert. I live at 14 North 12th Street, Kenilworth. I am not a resident within 200 feet of the list, so I'm not familiar what was advertised. And I heard people saying S1, S2, some things I couldn't hear because it was noisy in the back. So if I may, I'd like to ask the planning board attorney, what was that notice that was put in the paper or sent out within 200 feet? What was it for?
So an applicant has to publish.
I understand how it works. All I'm asking you is what did it say?
It said that they were appearing here tonight for an application for a preliminary and final major subdivision of block and lot for this property, just 4 lots.
Okay,
Right?
nothing else.
Then what it has, what the woman was speaking about was, there's a generic boilerplate paragraph that says, if should another variance or another issue come up, that be on notice that that might also occur. Right? What I explained to her back then, not to repeat myself, is during the review by the professionals, none of those other issues that would have been in that boilerplate did come up.
Okay, so
The
that's,
letter did say a data center will be put on the site.
It says that in the notice?
Ma'am, could I ask you to refrain, and you'll have another chance to come up, please? Just so we have some order. You can see that everybody's getting a fair shake with questions.
No, I'm just asking, what I heard in the background, is that true? Is that in the air? Is that in the air?
I took, she took the letter back.
Oh, so you don't
We have
have
the letter right here for
paragraph?
our property, the 200 feet.
Bob, what is the question you're asking?
Well, I'm getting at is, as you know, I'm involved with zoning. I sat up there at one time or another for the best interest of Kenilworth, right? Politically now, I can't be up there, but my question is, when you come to the board, you have to advertise what you're coming for, and you don't add anything to it. And Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, and you know I have respect for you, is you've said many a times in front of all these people that came up before me that this is here for subdivision at this time, and that's all you want to hear. So my question is to this board is, why is this being heard tonight? Because it was only supposed to be for a subdivision. And now I'm hearing, I don't see it, nobody's providing it to me, or a copy of the newspaper article. It's stating about everybody's concern. It's in that notice. So to me, this meeting should be tabled and revisited just for the subdivision.
So the notice does say the first paragraph at the bottom, and I'll read it.
Thank you.
That you get it. The property is in the borough's 2000 Gallopin Hill Road redevelopment plan zone district, and is currently being developed for a data center and related uses, including a chilling station and electrical utility yard. So it says what the property is being developed for, but the application is for a subdivision.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So with that said, the board understands everybody's concern. And correct me, Mr. Chairman, if I'm wrong. When you guys make decisions, yay or nay, in favor of an application, either way, isn't it part of this board and any board in the state of New Jersey to be consistent with their yays and their nays? As an example, what we're talking about tonight, the subdivision, right? And I believe yourself said other bigger parcels, not as big as this, but like maybe 100 by 200, people can come for a subdivision, and as long as there's none of those other bulk requirements that are impacted, it could be heard, right? So all I'm asking you guys is to reconsider and maybe reschedule this and get the proper advertisement in the paper, number one. Number two, be consistent, because not too long ago, another subdivision, not in the redevelopment agreement, but in town, and it was conforming, and the applicant, all they wanted to do was make 2 buildable lots. They weren't proposing any building or anything, and I don't know if it was the planning board or the zoning board, but it was denied. So all I'm asking you is be consistent tonight, taking strong considerations to the taxpayers of Kenilworth and the property owners of the adjoining town of Kenilworth that's going to be impacted by potentially what may be. I'm asking you, before you vote on that, when you have your discussion, but when it goes to a vote, I'm asking every member up there, be independent, think for yourself, don't follow the fishing hook. You know, that's what you're up here for, to think for yourselves. So that's all I'm asking. And that's on the subdivision. My last and quick question, if you want to answer it, fine. If not, but I'm putting it out there. If this was we are only here for a subdivision, I want to know why is the board allowing other literature from Facebook and our active mayor next to the applications and what's being heard tonight? Why is this document even out here talking about AI? It shouldn't be there. That table is there for the information of what's on the agenda and what's going to be happening. So in the future, let's not put out other things that additional, just let's have the proper paperwork out there. There shouldn't be this additional stuff talking about Core Wave and the electric and the water, and they're gonna have a special water thing. It's not gonna impact our water. So, as some of our residents said, we know if this subdivision is approved, what's going there. And just take that in consideration. All we can do is ask you to vote the right way for the people. It's your decision, it's on you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Herbert. I just want to comment on something. Mr. Herbert made a statement. Now that your time is up, I just want to address something. You did make a statement that the board denied an application on a subdivision. I have to say that I remember a couple of denials of a subdivision, and we may be going off track here, but I want to make it clear. Denials of subdivisions are either because they don't meet the criteria, or an applicant may come before the board that has the room to do it, but is asking for waivers, and the waivers are not necessary in order to make that application go smooth through. So that's the only thing that I could remember of a denial of someone, an applicant, having the appropriate amount of land to have a subdivision. So I would say if a lot is supposed to be 50 by 100 and they want, let's say it's greater than 100 by 100, and they want to subdivide, but they want to adjust lots in order to make it work, well, you need to stay with the criteria of 50 by 100. And if you can make it work on that parcel, then you don't need a waiver, you don't need a hardship, you don't need a variance. You just do it the right way. So, Mr. Herbert, when the board takes a look at that, and I appreciate you saying that because that tells you that we are looking at every application and we're making sure that it's done the right way. And so we will look and scrutinize and ask the question. So, thank you for that. Anyone else?
And thank you for explaining.
Okay, because if I may,
I just wanted to say thank you.
yeah, ma'am, if I may, sometimes what happens is a buzzword gets out there, and all of a sudden, you know, we look like, oh, he denied him, but he approved him. No, it comes before us. We look at it. If it meets the criteria, this is what the board is here for. But we have to hear what's going on, and we have to be very rigid in where we make how we make our decisions. Ma'am?
If I may, 1 second. So again, please reconsider. It was not advertised correctly in the paper. This should be stopped. It was advertised.
I don't know your statement to be true, Mr. Herbert, but I will ask the attorney to look at that, and then we will look at it from that point. Ma'am, please.
Carol Aguirre, A-G-U-I-R-R-E. I'm in Roselle Park. I would like, for the record, for the planning board to state whether or not they're going to consider the questions that we started with of why should the subdivisions take place, what's the impact of everything we've heard tonight. Is that something that the board's going to do? And if you are, when will the public know?
Okay. So it's a pretty simple answer, and please, I'm not coming off as condescending. I understand concerns. If an applicant, for whatever reason, comes up here, it doesn't matter to us what that application is. If it meets the criteria, it will then be approved. If it doesn't meet the criteria, it will be denied or discussed. We'll go back to the drawing board. We can't just say no to something that we may think that they're going to do. If they come in with the application, they're represented by counsel, we have to take a look at what's in front of us. And if I came off strong or heavy, I apologize to you all. I don't mean to. I think there'll be another time for you to state everything that your concerns are. And they are not going to be, you can't say it. We have to make sure that we follow the rule that the attorney has stated forth with his witness, and that you all understand what we're up against as the board. We're only looking at what's in front of us.
So the question would, I'm assuming the answer is yes, it's going to be approved because the planners and the engineer said there's no concerns.
I can't say that because we did not vote on it. All I could say is you asked what the criteria is, and I tried to answer.
I was asking, will the board reconsider the application of the questions that we started with at the beginning of why does it need to be subdivided? Why does one owner need to subdivide one property or what they already own into 4 parts? Will the board consider that before making their decision? And if they do, will those considerations and the reasons of what that outcome of the vote be made public?
I will tell you that it's the board's obligation to make sure that every applicant is treated fairly, and that we have to take a look at the application in front of us. And we can't determine what anyone is going to do with their property, because then it looks like we are just saying you can and you can't. If an application is clean and it can, and an applicant wants to do what they want with their property, and it meets the criteria, then I have to say it will be approved. If not, it's going to be denied.
When will the planning board vote?
On this application?
Yes.
Tonight.
Okay. And then the other part I want to state, like it's been mentioned before, there's a lot of residents that are not from Kenilworth, but we shop here, we come to the parks, we have family and friends here. And the mayor's reelection is coming up next year, so that is something to consider. As it's been stated, we are able to choose where we spend our money, like the porch salon that the mayor owns in Cranford. Correct. So please be aware that these are public officials. It's a mixture, right? There's residents on this board, there are municipal members. Their information's online. So just stating that is something that as residents and neighbors we're able to do. And it's something to consider as this vote and the continuing votes that require any construction as the data center that it's zoned. That is one of the zonings. I read what's online. And what the other lady mentioned, that the previous meeting where this property owner or planner came and spoke that they will be building a data center. Those are things to consider. And I hope that as we continue, everything, the impact to our water sources, the environment, to the noise pollution, everything will be considered. And I look forward to coming to more meetings. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You know what? I have one more question.
You have to give other people.
Can I just ask one question?
You know what? I'm going to give you that leeway because. Oh, thank you very much. I'm not so condescending.
I'm just curious because the federal government doesn't want any encumbrances upon AI or data centers, okay? And as a state level, we have everything that's blocked up. Nothing's passed, right? So you can say to your blue in the face that this, that, the other thing's gonna happen. That's not true. What insurance will you give to the populace of this county that you are putting guardrails? Like, what are you doing to ensure that it's safe for us? Like environmental impact? I mean, I know you did a noise study. I'm curious where the guardrails and where this will be, because the man who invented AI said this could be an extinction event. And I'm just curious as to, you know, it's okay for you to get your tax dollars. It's not going to impact the citizens because you're just going to fund your city, right? So or your borough or whatever. It's not going to lower their taxes. Let's be honest.
If I may answer your question.
I would like that.
Okay. So you're asking about guardrails.
I am.
Okay.
Because that
Here's
is a
the
very
guardrails.
big
The
concern.
guardrails are just this, and I think you may have watched me put them up all night long, not only for the applicant, but for the board and for the residents. I'm sure you're going to think that we're not doing that, but we are. We have, just let me speak out. We have a criteria to follow. We have a system in place that tells us what we can and cannot do. There's positive and negative criteria, which falls under the question that you're asking about guardrails. With an application for a subdivision that meets or exceeds the criteria, you're going to say, is it a yay or a nay? It's a yay. If it doesn't, it's a nay. However, another application that may come before us at a later date will be scrutinized, will be handled with a fine-tooth comb. All the questions will be asked. Probably, and I hope I don't get a big murmur out there, before the public asks them. The same questions that you're going to ask, this board is going to ask them. Everything that you recited before, we're going to ask.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, but we've all seen the videos from Vineland. We've all seen the people outside of Austin who their water comes out brown and different things. I understand that there are different AI data centers. What I'm asking you, and I understand you're the planning board, you have no parameters. You're almost saying, like, right now, as long as they meet your qualifications, they'll be the testing site.
No, I didn't say
is
that.
Exactly
I want to
what you
reiterate
said.
that, and if that's what you heard, that's not what I'm saying.
But you said
I'm
that
talking,
then going further. Excuse
ma'am,
me, you
ma'am, that's
asked-
not what I
let
said, but
you
if that's what you
I
heard-
let you speak. Please let me finish.
Sure.
You said after, then we'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Why aren't you going through this with a fine-tooth comb
Because
now?
that's not the application that's in front of us, ma'am. What's in front of us is a subdivision. If the subdivision meets a requirement, then we handle that then. When another application comes in, whatever it's for, and I'm sorry I used an illustration that may have offended someone, but I didn't mean it in that light. I cannot tell
I was
you.
asking for clarification.
I cannot tell you what somebody is going to do with their property, nor am I allowed to tell them they can or cannot.
But
All I can do is follow the rules of the board that says when an application comes up here, we need to handle it professionally. We ask for documentation and we do whatever we can. Whatever happened in Texas, I can't talk to, but I will talk to this. Anything that comes before us, we will scrutinize 100%.
Well, then why are they getting the 2 substations already, and why are they getting permanent employees then?
This is now a dialogue that I can't delve into in this evening, but when
But that's
this...
what- I'm sorry, excuse me, that's what you keep saying, but it really seems like a big runaround.
It
to
could
the
seem that way,
citizenry.
but if you could just bear with me a minute here. We are on a threshold of maybe not being able to do our job properly. And the more we speak about what may happen, what about this, what about that, makes it much more difficult for us to do what we do. Now, we're just citizens here in our town here. We have in front of us an application that states that they want to subdivide their property. We are not in power to say that they can or they can't unless they bring the documentation, and that's what they did. We didn't vote on it yet, but we're listening to your concerns. But I think your concerns are better displayed at maybe the next meeting. This one, it's not, we don't know, ma'am. We expressed that. I will say it again. We don't know. It's not in front of us yet. If I had the documentation, I'd give it to you. But the application has not been filed.
Sir, I understand what you're saying,
Mhm.
but if you go through everything, you've pushed this through until now. And what you're voicing right now doesn't equate with what's happening. You can say the planning board, oh, we want to do this, that. Things are moving forward regardless of what you say. So,
listen.
no, please let me finish, sir.
Go ahead.
I let you speak, please let me. You are trying to defend something, which is fine. You need the planning board looking at things, but it's already moving forward. And I think that's a bit indefensible, regardless if you want people to go to the other meeting. And as for the mayor, she posted twice on Facebook. And I'm really tired of officials going on social media to explain things to the plebes. It's not right. It's not right for your neighbors. It's not right for people in the town. And that's-
I have to say thank you very much. I gave you a second chance to.
You gave me a second chance.
to
I have
to
all
speak.
the chances. You
Okay.
chose
Well,
to be there.
our-
Nobody said, "Oh my God, we need Mr. Pecorino at the council."
Pecorino Romano.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, even you, everybody. I mean, this is ridiculous to me.
Your time
You're
is up.
elected official.
Thank you, ma'am. Maybe I think I did. Anybody else?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Daniela Palmy. That's P as in Peter, A-L, M as in Mary, E. I live on 25 North 6th Street. I wasn't able to see the graph from back there. My question for the subdivision is, before any of the dividing can take place, how are we approaching the existing infrastructure in terms of things like the stormwater drainage? Because we've already been dealing, especially like on my side of town, we've already got a flood issue that is out of control.
Great question.
So how are we going to do that? And because it's technically on Galloping Hill Road, does the county have to weigh in on that as well? And are they going to be able to either approve and deny this just like it's going to be planned for here?
Fantastic questions. All of that will be addressed when they decide. I'm sure that's hysterical, but now maybe you're going to get a little bit of an education. All of that will be decided when they file an application for what they want to do. Right now, may I?
Yeah.
Right now, all they're doing is putting pencil on paper saying, I want to make these 4 little boxes, and this is what we want to do. Now, when they come back and they file an application for whatever they want to do, they will have to meet every criteria that you stated.
Okay. And
Everyone.
that would be including like fire access lanes, on-site
Everything.
parking, all of those things
Everything.
to accommodate whatever influx of people might
Everyone.
be or equipment.
Everyone. Everything that you're thinking, everything that you just said would have to be presented in their application. Their attorney will have to talk to it. Their professionals will have to speak to it, and they will have to have affidavits that will document it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And
I
then-
hope I answered your question.
You did, and then I just have one more. So
Sure.
then if the subdivision is approved and they then come and say, okay, we want to build X, Y, Z on whatever parts, do we as a town hold them accountable with next steps in terms of if there's contamination found on the property, we all know that there's contamination popping up all over. Do they have to present to us a plan on how they're going to remediate it? What does that have to pass through in terms of them getting an approval to build? And just how are we handling that?
Again, everything you just said will be part of that document. It has to be. We as the board need to see everything that's going on, and that we have to make sure that their professionals, their scientific professionals, whatever they're doing there, has to meet a certain criteria. Now, that would mean that we also have to engage in other people, other professionals, other members, like Mr. Mazzi will pick up.
Just one thing in terms of any contamination on site, the site's going to have to be approved by the NJDEP. There are some open site items now, which once any construction starts, in terms of application, they're going to have an LSRP of record, and there's going to be a whole list of areas of concerns and studies they're going to have to do and remediate with under an LSRP's direct supervision.
And then just one more question to
Sure.
tie into that.
You have good ones.
With the, okay, so we say yes on the subdivision, they now have to come forward with the 4 individual plans, and all 4, for whatever they might want to build or do, will have to go through the same levels of scrutiny before, so maybe buildings A, B, or whatever could be great, but C and D, we can say no?
They may not come with 4. They may come with 1. Whatever they come with, they have to meet the criteria. It's I don't want to say it's simple. It's convoluted. It's entwined. But we have to see what they're going to put in front of us. And that's it. I mean, I hope I answered your questions. But they're not just no one's coming into this board and saying I'm doing X, Y, or Z. As Mr. Herbert just said, that we denied an applicant for whatever the reason was. But the reason had to be valid, and it had to be justified, and this board had to make a decision.
answers my questions.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Victor Gomes. I live in Union, about a mile from the site, maybe less. And I'm here because what is happening on the property is of great concern to me, my family, the potential environmental impacts and health impacts. I want to say, and I'm going to relate this to what this meeting is about, which is, you've made clear, is about the subdivision. But I just want to kind of maybe speak a little bit on behalf of the folks that are here, because I'm not sure that they're quite articulating certain things. One of them is, I think one of the reasons that so much of what's happening on that property is being brought up at this meeting, even though that's not what this meeting is about, is because there was a lack of transparency around the approval of what occurred there, or what is occurring there now, which included, at some point, obviously, approval from your board. So I think what folks are looking for on this evening is some transparency around this process. We know that the purpose of what's going on there is the building of a data center, an AI data center. So I think what folks are looking for is transparency and trying to get ahead of what's already kind of taken place now, right? So what that means is, if we have the owner of this property now asking to subdivide this plot of land into 4 spaces, why do they want to do this? And if we don't have that answer, we should be voting not to, so that we can assess the purpose of what they're trying to do there. They already own this land, so we should be able to make some kind of assessment of what they want to do, what impact it will have on the community from an environmental health standpoint, before we approve splitting it into 4 zones. Because the concern is that splitting it is an attempt to circumvent perhaps regulations, perhaps circumvent some other rules, some other factor that might inhibit them from doing what they want to do. And that is certainly, or should certainly be, of concern to a planning board. So I think I'm speaking on behalf of the folks here today in expressing that that is what our concern is, so that's where it lies, and that this should be voted down today because additional assessment is needed, and we need to understand much better what the environmental and health impacts, among many other things, are in regards to what they're planning to do on this property, and how them splitting it into 4 zones may or may not impact that. So that is the statement I want to make. I want to clarify it, I think, on behalf of the folks here. And that's really all I had to say, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. John C. Havens. I actually live in Westfield, but I'm a Union County resident. First of all, hi Kenilworth. How you doing? And second of all, I want to say thank you. This is my first time coming here, so Mayor and all of you, I really appreciate, as I assume, how much work you've done for Kenilworth in so many ways over the years. If helpful, and I speak for myself, not for my employer, I've worked in artificial intelligence and ethics for about 12 years. I'd recommend a book, if you haven't read it, it's called Empire of AI by a well-known journalist with The Atlantic named Karen Howell. And what Kenilworth is experiencing, and I say that for everyone. And by the way, again, I want to be respectful. I'm learning about the zoning, so I'm going to talk for a minute, and then if there's a question, I'll get to it quickly. Thank you for listening. But a pretty common thing that's happened globally, you can read about it in the book, is with one type of artificial intelligence that's called generative AI. That came about in November of 2022 with OpenAI and ChatGPT. These are the tools that made artificial intelligence sort of intelligible to the public, but I want to talk about the moral aspect of generative AI, which may sound like, why is this guy talking about it when we're talking about the hyperscale data center? It's because the hardware and the technology that drives generative AI is why we're here today. So hyperscale data centers need water to cool the computer servers. I'm not sure if this is going to be a closed loop water system, but even when there's a closed loop water system, What happens is the water, the silt from those computers goes into local groundwater. I'm sure people have talked about that. But the other aspect that often isn't talked about is the fact that the water in the water treatment plant, for however you're getting your water, is going to be affected. And then there's an additive effect of water in aquifers all over New Jersey. There was a great report from the New York Times in 2022 about the aquifer depletion from 1945 to 2022. It's massive. There's a lot of ignorance about hydronics or hydraulics in water, which I work in as well. This idea that we have as much water as we have and it's never going to change. That's not correct. Water that gets evaporated into the air above Kenilworth goes to other places. It doesn't come here. Also, recent reports from the World Bank talk about water actually changing. The point being that water scarcity is the thing. Generative AI, just to give you some lessons, if you're not a geek, as I am, the tools are not designed necessarily to find facts. They use what's called large language models to gather massive amounts of data, and that's why they need so much water and energy. But you've probably heard this term, which I don't like. I say this respectfully. My father passed away from complications of Parkinson's. Hallucinations is a term that you'll hear that AI people or Gen AI people use. That is what's called anthropomorphism, making a tool that is not human or alive sound alive. It's not alive. It's an error. Generative AI, as compared to something like deep learning. Deep learning is a type of AI technology that's been used for years. If you want to get your cancer MRIs, X-rays examined, ask for deep learning AI, because it examines photographs, and you know how many computers it needs? Maybe 2 computers like you have ones at home. Generative AI, just to also let you know what your the moral aspect of what this thing is that's being built that I haven't heard discussed yet. I heard on WNYC a great report yesterday about Google Chromebooks going into elementary schools, being outfitted with generative AI.
Sure, I just got it. Yeah.
You want to wrap me up? Okay. Just the things that haven't been said. The AI revolution, which I heard about Kenilworth, the last thing I'll say, and thanks for listening. The AI revolution, the Gen AI revolution, what you're actually feeding into is something that's immoral. And I also want to point out before we forget, I read about this Kenilworth data center. I know it's not specifically about this, but I want to say please support Congressman MacGyver's AI Data Center Site Selection Transparency Act of 2026. No, I understand. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you, sir.
I'm in Union County. Thanks.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Terry Seuss. I live on Chestnut Street, about 2 blocks from Merck, by the Crowflies, right? So, you know, I've been driving by and looking at that place ever since they put up the sign, which is Northeast Science Technology Center, thinking, I gotta look that up. Well, finally got around to it. And they have on their website exactly what they want to do. And they list all the data centers, and you can look up data centers across the country that are owned by the company that wants to come in there. So I guess I'm just disappointed that this has gone on for like 3 years. And you guys are, I don't know how long you've been on the council or the planning board or been the mayor, but you know, you would think that you would try and reach out to people, maybe call a hearing, be just, as the gentleman said, much more transparent. This is a huge development that's going to have impacts on us. And we're hearing things, we don't know if they're true, we don't know if they're not true. So it's really pretty pathetic. You know, and case in point, which opened my eyes to this, was when they knocked down a dozen trees on Chestnut Street. And I'm calling them saying, where are the trees? What are they doing to this? Oh no, you have nothing to say about this. This is PSE&G. They can do whatever they want. Okay, so then what happened on Chestnut Street? Do you ever drive down there? Have you seen what's going up on Chestnut Street? They're giant poles. They're about, I don't know, they've got to be over 200 feet tall. And they're metal. They're about this big around. don't have an accident on Chestnut Street and hit one of those. They're solid metal, right? So they're going to put up these high power wires coming down there. You can already see the insulators going up for them. And it's like, what? How is this happening? So I guess you're just hearing from people all over the region that are not informed, you know, and it's like, how can you help us? You know, not just helping the businesses expedite whatever they want to do. I mean, in Union, they just approved, well, they approved a year ago and we didn't know about it, drive-through Dunkin' Donuts on Chestnut Street. Y'all are going to be able to love to get your coffee without getting out of your car at 5 points where there's all this traffic. So how did that happen? You know, this is a pattern for all these small towns, and the fact that you are operating kind of in a bubble with only the businesses is a problem. So you need to be much more transparent, and you need to have much more input from people. Because we live here, we happen to be the ones who elect you, and it seems like you should be talking to people like us instead of only the businesses. So that's all I have to say tonight, but thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Marie McGillis, Roselle Park, New Jersey. MIG,
Can you speak up, ma'am? We can't hear you up here.
Marie, oh well. Maria McGillis, MIGUELEZ, Roselle Park, New Jersey. Roselle Park. Anyway, I know we're the subdivision. You guys are voting on that tonight, right?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So based on what that young lady said at the beginning, said very eloquent, like you did your homework. The owner of that property is not here, right? Tonight?
I don't think so.
No.
Council's right behind you.
The council. Yeah, but the council doesn't really speak for the
Well, he does.
Yeah, but he can't make decisions for the owner. So, I mean, trust me, I work in finance, it's all up to the total. So my question is, regardless of what we say here, there is no way for you to do your due diligence tonight to make a decision because you're not taking away anything from what she said. I don't know if anyone even took notes while she was speaking. That's neither here nor there. So my point is, you already made your decision. Yeah. You're just having this meeting, check your box to say, like the boilerplate, you had to have a meeting to say this, but are you going to talk to the owner before making your decision to ask, why are you subdividing them into 4? Why can't you just do 1? That's a question.
Oh,
you can answer.
I didn't know when you were done. I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, I want to hear your answer.
So am I going, or is this board going to ask the question, what are you doing there? No, we are not going to do that. And I'll tell you why. We're not allowed to do that. All we are allowed to do is take a look at the property and find out if it meets the criteria. Some people do subdivisions. Some people do subdivisions. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here. And never do anything with them. It is not our job to ask anyone what they're doing with their land except meet the criteria for their sub. No, that's not good enough?
No, that's
Okay.
not what I asked.
Okay.
I didn't ask you what they're going to do. No. I just asked, which is a normal question for anybody. All right? If I have a piece of property and I want to separate it into 4 divisions,
Yeah.
and I need to get approval from someone, an engineer or whoever should be able to question and ask, well, why would you want to subdivide it into 4? That's just plain curiosity. Now, whether the owner wants to answer, yeah, that's on their
That's
own.
another story,
But
right?
since you are the councilman of Kenilworth, you got voted in, it's your responsibility to ask these questions. Because ignorance is not an excuse. You
Correct.
can't plead ignorance after.
Correct.
So my question is, you have Plan A, Plan B, and you Plan C. After you approve the subdivision tonight, let's be real, again, we're approving it tonight, so sorry guys, we all lost it.
You've given me a hypothetical, so I want to give you one back. If an engineer, myself, or Kathy here, asked, what are you going to do with those 4 things that you want to subdivide? And he said, or she said, I haven't decided yet. Would that be a good enough answer?
At least you get an answer.
Well, the
Because
thing
you
is,
asked the question, but you asked the question. The thing is, to me, is you need to ask the questions, right? You can always plead the fifth, but the questions need to be put out, and then you can hold people accountable for their answers. What I'm seeing here is, you didn't ask, that gentleman who did the survey, yeah, there's 4. I mean, it worked for Merck before when they had one giant building, so why can't it work for, I don't even know the company name, for the new owner? Why does he need to subdivide? Because again, if you're subdividing it, that means you're tearing down structures, so that's an added expense. If I'm an owner, I'm a builder, I'm gonna try and keep as much as my operating costs and building costs as low as possible. So if I have
and wouldn't
a
we say that's your prerogative? To do
That's
what
my
you want to do with your property? As long as it meets the law and the criteria?
Right.
So why is it not good for another applicant? If it's good for you, ma'am, why isn't it good for someone else? I'm just listening to what you're telling me.
But I'm asking you if you ask the question.
Okay, so you want me to ask the question to an applicant,
But
what are you
if-
going to do with your property? And he may say none of your business.
I'm asking if you asked any of those questions. So the engineer, the planning board member, you never, just out of curiosity, Dan, you know what? Why didn't you want to use the whole piece? That thought never entered your minds, like never even, you know what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the boxes checked, that's fine. I have no curiosity, I don't care. Was that like the whole?
It's not that people don't care. It's not what we're allowed to do. We're not allowed to ask those questions. You have a piece of property, you want to subdivide it, it's your property now. It's yours. You want to subdivide it.
Okay.
I have to look at what's in front of me, right?
So then, you have just concluded the whole thing, and we wasted 2 hours.
We didn't waste anything. We heard
You
every
guys
one of
already-
your
but-
concerns.
but
And
you
I also
said
said that you have an opportunity to do this again when they come back.
But you already decided that the subdivision is approved.
I never decided anything. We told you that 3 times. We have to vote on
All
that.
right, so you'll vote on it tonight. When does everybody find out?
Tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Tonight.
Okay. Who wants to bet $100 that it gets approved? But thank you very much.
You're welcome. Come on up.
Hi, good
Hi.
evening. My name is Nilene Cruz, and I live right in front of the site also, in Union. So when I found out what was happening here a few weeks ago, obviously I was very upset. This is not, with these subdivisions, I think you already know what's going to happen, that's why you're rating the questions here. You don't want to ask why this is being divided, because you already know what's going to happen here. And obviously, you're going to vote on that yes today. But as a resident of Union, that greatly affects me because I'm closer than anybody here in Kenilworth. I'm closer to that facility. So you didn't take in mind when you approved this last March 2025, when you approved CoreWeave coming, you didn't do your research of who they were, what were they doing? You did not. So you approved that at that time a year ago, almost a year ago, and now you know exactly what's going to happen. So I really hope everybody here that was voted in, you could get voted out just like in Missouri. Everybody got voted out. Everybody that knew. So I'm not a voter of Kenilworth, but I hope that everybody that is, you take that into consideration in the next voting sessions, because you are obviously doing the wrong thing. This is AI centers are being stopped all over the country. We all know this because we know what the negative impact has on communities. So obviously you didn't care for the people around Roselle Park, Union. You guys are farther away than I am. I'm in Union. So now I have to breathe in pollution. I have to hear noise. I moved here so I could have a tranquil life, and now that's going to change in the near future. That's not fair. And I'm just telling you that in the future you might get sued. There's a lot of things that are going to happen if this goes through. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Selby. I'm from Cranford. I used to live in Kenilworth. You keep talking about the vote like you have to say yes, but what happens if you say no?
We are not saying that we have to
No,
say
no,
yes.
you're saying you're not allowed, but what happens if you say no?
What do you mean what happens?
What happens if you vote no? You're saying you can't vote no. Why not?
Okay, so are you saying a hypothetical or what we're going to?
I would like to know what the consequences are of you voting no, because you're saying you have to vote yes.
So let's do this. Let me try to answer that in another forum.
Just like in the exact forum. Like the exact forum.
Mr. Jim, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
What happens if you vote no?
perhaps our attorney can explain the applicant's rights if the board denies
I'm
their
asking why
application.
you.
We haven't voted yet.
What
So-
you're saying, I'm asking what would happen if you voted no.
And I'm asking the attorney to explain what the ramifications.
Is he in charge of the town?
He's the attorney.
Okay, do you want an answer to your question or not?
Sure, please let me know. What would happen if they voted no?
You can't ask them what their vote is.
I'm not asking what their vote is. I'm asking what would happen if they said no, because they're saying we have to say yes to what's allowed.
This only works if when I'm speaking about
Yeah, okay. Yeah, speak.
So, an applicant, if the application is denied, if they get a no vote, they have a right to go to court and appeal it.
Great. Let them do that. Say no. Nobody wants this. Not in this town. Not in Cranford. Not in Roselle Park. Not anywhere in Union County. We don't want this. You guys.
He's still speaking, ma'am. The attorney's still speaking.
You guys represent the people. You represent the people, not corporations. You represent the people.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm sorry I didn't hear your name.
Michelle Fagan, I live on North 20th Street in Kenilworth. I am so disappointed in this. That young woman that came up here and saw all the age on you guys. Well, how many of you guys are going to be here in 5 years? You're leaving this town in ruins. Your property value is going to dive if an AI center pulls into town. I have news for you. It's not a good look. Nobody is going to want your town. So if you think it's bad now, it's going to get even worse. My property taxes have skyrocketed. Not appreciative of the skyrocket, and I understand, but there are much better uses for that Merck property than what they are planning on building. So your first responsibility should be to the taxpayers of this community, as well as the surrounding towns that are even closer than some of us. Because the noise, the cost to the electricity, and the cost and the damage to our water is indescribable with these things. It is up to you. This is the first step, I get it, but you can say no. You can find a reason somewhere along the way, but not changing the master plan to allow a data center without telling any of the residents. That was really scummy. Do you know why there's no residents here, Harley? Because nobody knows about it. My daughter sent me something from Instagram that had popped up. I'm not on Facebook to watch the mayor. I don't really care about that stuff. But the town should be getting newsletters. They should be getting something when it's this big and going to be this impactful. You're a disgrace.
Before you come up and speak, man, come to the podium. Stephen, right? Where's? I thought there was someone here, Stephen. Okay, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
My name's Paula Compton, so I live in Union, behind the center of Elementary. We already know that there is an AI center built. You guys approved the plan. There is one on the site. We're asking you to deny to split this property, to divide it and make it bigger, because we're approving the AI center, which we all see as being built. They want to make a massive one. Please deny the split of the property so they can't put additional things closer to our homes. That's what I'm asking.
Sorry I'm taking so long.
Okay, all the time you need, sir.
Oh my God, too many Robert Chimera. I live on Walton Avenue. Five Point Junior. Walton Avenue is a one-way street. Benito's Restaurant is on it. And the first half of it is a one-way where the homes border Sears parking. The second part, the properties border what used to be Merck. I look out my window and see a gigantic crane just 2 crosses down. Okay, so somebody is building something. The point is that you're going to make a decision that affects a lot of people. And I hope to God you can make the right one. I don't have a fancy line to say, but I just pray to God that you make the right one, because you're going to be affecting a lot of people's lives, especially people that live practically on top of the site, like I do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
My name's Robert Payne. I'm from Roselle Park, so I just recently moved over here. So just to let everyone know, recently moved over here, so still learning about the area. So thank you, Kenilworth, for having me here today. I am a investor, worker. I've worked with Toll Brothers, D.R. Horton on big development projects in North Carolina, New Jersey, and New York. The owners probably know who they are. They are very big development companies. So I'm used to seeing something like this. I'm still learning about this future project you guys are having. Just for you to answer a couple of questions so that I'm better aware. If you could just look at me, sir, that would be greatly appreciated.
Excuse me, sir. I was just getting a motion
No,
from
no.
a police officer.
No, I understand.
So please conduct yourself.
I understand.
I'll give you all the respect, but give me the same.
All right, awesome.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Just kind of want to know, has this plan been built yet, or has this plan been approved yet for the site, or you guys are just going through the process of what you want to build? Like, has it been approved? So it's been approved already. So from my best understanding is that before you build something, you usually have all your plans set up already when it comes to subdivision, engineering, just everything that goes with it. Just kind of want to know what's the reasoning of subdividing this kind of late into the process if you already approved it, and what's the benefit that's going to bring to the community of the subdivision?
So it wasn't approved.
Okay.
You said plan, right, was the plan approved? So there's a redevelopment plan which puts the zoning in place. That was approved March of last year. Then there's a thing called a site plan, which is what the buildings look like, right, the size, the scope, where the roads are, where the fire actually,
Yes.
the trees are. That has not been approved, the site plan.
Okay.
All right, so there's when you said plan, I didn't.
No, I know. I just wanted to get my best understanding to what's being.
So it's not unusual to get the redevelopment plan first, then subdivide a property second, and then do the actual site plan third. That's not an unusual method on how you would do this.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And then with the subdivision that you guys are asking for, how is this plan supposed to be helping out the community of Kenilworth and just the surrounding towns with this project you guys are planning?
Well, we're not planning anything. What we are doing is here to hear about subdividing the land. We have not approved anything going forward. That will be at a later date, a next meeting, and all those questions could be asked and answered.
Okay.
We are not approving anything here of what they're going to build, if they build, when they build.
Okay.
We're not here for that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we kind of already know what's already going there. I mean, there is no question about it. I understand legally you guys can't physically say it, but even though you can't physically say it, I think we all have the paper in front of us of what's already going to be built from the mayor, Linda. So, $1.8 billion project. I don't think you guys are gonna say no to this. We all know how this works. And like the older gentleman, Robert, I'm gonna repeat the same thing that he said. I hope you make the right choice. Think about your own people and your town. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Hi, my name is Megan Donnelly. I am a Union, New Jersey resident. I actually just bought my house 4 years ago, right down the street. I live on Chestnut, and I moved there with my husband and my little boy, 6 years old. And I just found out about this a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty devastated. I didn't hear about it except for the Facebook post and rumblings and murmurs, or rumors. You say you're going to announce the meeting, the next meeting in the paper, right? You make an announcement in the paper.
It needs to get advertised.
It needs to get advertised. Okay. What paper?
So the state of New Jersey now says that it needs to be put on the municipal website.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Sounds good.
Papers are not
So,
read, so people actually.
fair enough. I just want to make sure, sorry. I just want to make sure that we all are aware of where this is going to be posted, when we should be looking for this, so that we can all attend the next meeting to voice our concerns. Like, is it like just go to the website every day and check? It's okay if that's the
No.
answer.
It's not an everyday thing, but you would probably go once a month to
Okay.
see where it is or if something is listed.
If something is listed. Okay. And I just want to make a request that if anybody sees that, to make it very, very public, because I know that it isn't going to be made as public. Thank
you.
I really stare at it.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. I'm right down the street. I can see it happen. And it's,
Thank you.
I already hear it.
Ma'am, did you want to come up?
Good evening. My name is Leah Likens, Lykens, and I live at 625 Newark Avenue, walking distance from here. I just wanted to say that I'm a resident. I invest in this community. I own my home, and I work really hard to continue to own my home. I send my kids to school right here at Harding Elementary, which has been wonderful for me. My son is less than a mile away from this Nest or Merck Center, and I also feel like completely caught off guard, especially since I have been following this. I am trying to stay on top of the world news, as challenging as that is. To stay on top of this local news should not feel so challenging. And I feel a little taken aback by that. My only request is that you take into account all of the children that we have in this community. I'm investing every day, and I want to keep investing here. I want my children to be able to invest in this community. And I think that voting no right now, until we have more information, is the best option for us. I think that the information is out there, right? We don't want to be negligent. We want to make the best decision for our community. And to be able to do that, we need to take in all the information. CoreWeave has not hidden their final goal. And our mayor has thankfully actually confirmed that for us and given us some transparency. We know exactly what they want to do. And so we should not turn a blind eye to that. It's all out there, it's been publicized, it's been confirmed. And knowing that there are additional consequences that we should look and make sure that are in place. And if they're not currently in place, we should slow this down. It's moving too fast. The entire community feels that way. Thank you.
How's it going? My name is Quentin Rodriguez Harrison. I'm a resident here of Kenilworth. I've been here for about 3 years, come May. I'm born and raised in New York. I came out here with my wife, with our 1-year-old. Now we have 2 kids, a dog. We came out here to settle down with the family and just get away from the busyness of city life, but being close to it. So I'm also a software engineer, so I've been like right in the middle of this whole AI boom where my job, we pretty much have to use it. So I've learned a lot about it. I have to interact with it. I understand all the pros and cons. And as much as it's a transformative technology, like anything that's new, there's clearly lots of unknowns. There's no long-term studies yet on what data centers will do to us in the long term, but we can tell before what's already out there, the amount of noise pollution, the potential water pollution, just the damage to just the nature around us that we have, and our fellow community members, right? So a lot of people are saying some great topics, some great talks. Like clearly, you guys have in your power to vote no, slow this down. That'd be incredible. This should not be so hard to understand, like the leader before me just said. Like, this local news, I found out about it on Change.org when I went on Nextdoor, and I was like, this is happening here? Because I've been reading about everything happening across the country, and I'm looking at these websites too, seeing where data centers are going up, what communities are doing to fight back, and how they're being successful. And I had nowhere in my mind that I imagined it would be less than 3 miles from me too. So once again, this technology is transformative, but in terms of what it's bringing to the community, is it bringing in a ton of jobs? Is it bringing in some kind of stability that we need here? Like, I don't understand the purpose for the data center so close to communities where this technology could be done in areas where there's nobody. We have plenty of space in this country. We have plenty of space in the Midwest, in deserts and areas, not Midwest little towns, not near other people. We have plenty of space to just have these things be on their own, have their own water source, have their own community just for this technology rather than affecting other people's lives. So it just seems like a big oversight. This technology is basically a big beta test on the world where we just don't know. And it feels like you're drowning in this because you can't control anything. Like, you guys are pretty much our first line of defense in giving us this information and helping information trickle through for us to digest and be able to reach out to you as a representative. And as someone who's on the internet a lot and dealing with technology a lot, I didn't know anything about this here, and I know everyone else here is here because we're all surprised. So these data centers are going to be using tons of memory. I don't know if you're in the computers, but memory used to cost like $50. Now it's like $500. Graphics cards are impossible to find for people who play games. These data centers get stocked full of them. The technology depreciates too fast for it to have any kind of sustainability. You can have memory, you can have graphic cards that burn out in 3 to 5 years, need to be rebought, need to be restocked, and you have this continuous cycle of once that data center is built, it's already it's obsolete. It's already old. They'll never catch up.
I got to say, your time is up. But can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You've been before this board before, correct?
Yes.
Do you think this board treats applicants fairly?
I feel like you have, yes.
Thank you. And we do our research and we make allowances where they need to be made, and we look at everything. Did we not, or do we not? We try our best to do our best. So what I'm asking the community here tonight is that we have an application in front of us that has really everything. Pardon me, I'm sorry. Everything but nothing to do with what you're telling me right now. Everything to do it, but nothing to do with it, because this application doesn't sit on what you're telling me tonight. In the future, everything that you just said should be brought to us in this forum, and everyone should come up and say and speak their piece when we can answer the questions thoughtfully, intelligently, and give the community what they want to hear. Whether we like it, we don't like it, or approve it, or not approve it, does not matter to us. We have to make sure that we answer every one of your questions. And I appreciate that you were truthful with us for the people here to hear that we treat the people fairly. Thank you.
One last thing before I step down.
Sure.
I understand in terms of dealing with individual matters that I've been treated fairly. However, I'm not a corporation is getting tax write-offs and.
Absolutely not, and I didn't
So don't-
allude to that. I just,
I can't relate it the same because they're not, right? It's one's commercial and one is government-funded money and one is like my property, a hard-working property I'm trying to maintain.
I
guess.
I don't want to go back and forth with dialogue, but it's your property, and this is their property, and we're looking at the property. You hit the nail on the head. We're just looking at the property.
No.
Give us a chance. Give us a chance to do our job here. We heard you. We didn't say no. We heard you.
From what I've heard, since this is all new to me, it seems like it was approved in something was approved in 2023, then last year something else was approved, and then this past week we've all heard about the latest. So I guess that's where, and I just moved here in May 2023, so I guess that's what the erosion of trust is, where like, it's already been signed up to that point. So that's where it seems like everyone has the issue, where we're hearing this now on the 23rd hour, but it's like, no one was there from the beginning of the songs. And I think that's the main disconnect here, where it's like people believe that you have their best interest in mind, and it feels like they were brought to the table with something that's going to affect them directly from the beginning. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming up today.
I don't know if it's okay to speak again.
It's
If you would indulge me just a
It's
moment.
really not. If we want to be fair to the other people that are here, and at the end, if there's more time, we would love to hear from you again, just to be fair to the other public. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gabriella Ruda. I'm a resident of Clark and certainly a resident of Union County. I wanted to come tonight to express my opposition to the data center and encourage other people to come out to do whatever is possible to stop it. Over $156 billion worth of AI data centers have been stopped from being built in this country in the last year and a half, and I think that people of New Jersey could band together to try to do whatever we can to prevent this from happening or mitigating it. I also feel like a very informed individual, and I just found out about this days ago from a woman I admire on social media who I usually follow to look for lost dogs in the community. So it is, we're all, the responsibility is on all of us to share this information and to come out and to hold you folks accountable. One of the biggest concerns I have about the water usage from this AI data center would be the overburdening of the Rahway Valley Sewer Authority. Have you ever been there?
Yes.
Yeah, all of you have been there?
I sat on the board.
Okay, that's not all of you have seen where our wastewater goes, or the amount of microplastics that are continuing to cycle through that as they have moved more and more metal gears out of that system into plastic. I can only imagine the environmental damage that will happen to the Arthur Kill when this contaminated water coming from the town of Kenilworth will be pumped through the system from the data center and will do irreversible damage. So whatever can be done to hold these people accountable is necessary. And also, I got a chip on my shoulder against CoreWeave when they're coming here to the Garden State and they're going after Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you're familiar, but the most fertile land in this country is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and there is no need to turn the land in Lancaster or the land in Kenilworth into the next Superfund site, which is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So please don't allow them to subdivide this property without knowing what they're going to do with it. And otherwise, if you guys let it go, I hope everybody votes you out. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Fall. I'm a resident in Union on Prospect Street, less than a mile from this site. Been there for 40 years. It's been good to me. And when I found out about this enterprise that was going to be developed, it certainly caused me concern, as it has everyone else here this evening. And I've been standing in the back, couldn't hear everything. I might have missed a few comments and concerns, but I think I certainly knew the gist of it. And I'm standing there thinking about everything that's being stated, and you're following the procedures. You know, we're just here tonight for the subdivision, all that, and there'll be subsequent meetings where you get to evaluate applications and decide and guide the owner with how they need to do things, because that's essentially what you'll do. And it feels like you're just kind of falling back on process, and forgive me for saying it, but just hiding behind it, because what should have happened, and I don't know if it would have been your group of people or someone else in the town a year ago, when apparently this property was purchased by the company, that was the point at which questions should have been asked. Not now. It's like, there's a couple of expressions that come to mind. The horse has left the barn, right? The train's left the station. It's going down the track. It's a done deal. That's what it feels like. And I'll be shocked, pleasantly surprised, but shocked if what comes out of this meeting or subsequent meetings is to knock this development proposal down, right? To do what's right for the good of the community, not for the almighty dollar. It's always about the money. And I'm a cynic, but it's always, no matter what it is in life, it's always about the money. And I understand it will be nice tax ratables for Kenilworth. Helps everyone out, you know, with their positions, and you can pat one another on the back, you know, you did a good job, whatever, from a town perspective, but not for the community. And that's what everyone's voicing their concerns about. And one of the ladies that spoke a little while ago now raised a point about asking questions. And I heard you saying, well, you don't have the right to ask questions about what you're going to use this property for. But it made me think of a situation that my daughter and son-in-law who live in Springfield recently encountered. They want to put a fence up on their property. It's a corner lot. And they've got to get variances from all of the neighborhood, right, within 200 feet, whatever it is, and then explain what they're doing. And apparently there's some kind of aquifer or some environmental concern underneath their property that is restricting them so far on what they can do. So something as simple as that, right? A residents, they're being challenged and questions about what they're planning to do. Why couldn't all of you question this company? What do you plan to do? And then think about it and evaluate. Is this good for the community? Because it's not. I mean, I think a blind person could see it. It's not. So, I wouldn't want to be in your seat, frankly. It's not an easy job. I don't have any doubt about it. But, you know, you got to stop and think about what's right for the community. And I don't see anything with this that's good for
the scenario that you created is interesting.
I'm sorry?
The scenario you created is interesting about the fence,
Yeah.
and that's totally hysterical. The fence and the variance. So, at that level, of course, they have to go to the permit department. Well, first they go to the zoning board. The zoning board asks them what they're doing. And then when they show them what they're doing, because it's a property that is existing,
Right.
and they either get an application that says, yes, you have enough room to do this, or no, you can't. You have to go either before the board. But if they had the room and they were able to build your daughter's fence, it would have ended there. They would have signed the permit. What I'm telling you here tonight, it's a much larger scale than a fence, and I get it. But if they meet a criteria of subdividing property, it is not the business of this board to ask what they're doing. Now, it is resonating that, hey, what are you doing over there? I'm not saying that we're naive. We're saying maybe it's a question that we might ask in the future. But right now, if you're asking me if the question was asked, I'm going to say no, because that's transparency. Because we are not in a position to ask that question. They're coming for an application that says they want to divide their land. And they have the right to do so if it meets all the criteria.
What are the
That's all we're saying.
At this
And
point
we
in
could
time-
respect each other for that, right?
I hear what you're saying, and at this point in time, I get it. Again, my earlier point was, the opportunity was missed a year ago, before they bought the property. And I don't know who has purview over that, I really don't. But somebody should have been asking questions when Corview, with a reputation as to what their business is all about, they want to come and buy property. Or why? What are you going to do with it? I'd be hard pressed to think somebody wouldn't be entitled to ask the question and stop and think and pause. Is this good? And that was the time it should have been stopped. But maybe I'll be surprised. Right?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming out. Anyone else? So can I ask you people who are still out there, I would like to give the lady a second chance to speak. So if when we come to the end of this, just let me know, and then I will give you the opportunity to come up again. Okay, ma'am? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Ben Zhou from Roselle Park. I've been here for about 30 years. We all know, you certainly know, the city of New Brunswick could deny their data center project. So it seems I was an engineer, so I understand all this process, how it goes. It seems what is going on right now, been built, been digged.
Can I ask you,
The electric pole.
The city of New Brunswick denied what?
The data center.
The data
The
center?
data center.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear
Yeah.
you. Okay.
So, yeah, that's a fact. No one can blame Kenilworth, this board, from those high electric pole and put it deep, because as long as they are digging outside of Kenilworth, it's not your responsibility, of course. You can deny that the purpose. Maybe they haven't announced it yet, but we see that's the process of creating effect on the ground. So eventually everything already in place and money spent. How can you say no? So the stake is pretty high. My question is, where are we in the process? Are we still able to something like New Brunswick to happen here, or is it already too far gone?
So I'm going to answer what I think I heard, okay? I think you told me, or told this board and everyone here, that New Brunswick denied the data center, correct?
Right.
But prior to that, they had a piece of property that they may have subdivided. You didn't give me that information. You went right to the data center. And we're not talking about a data center tonight, right? But somewhere along the line, they had a piece of property that they had. We could shout out, or we could have a great dialogue. Folks, come on. Let's try to be civil. You look at what he just told me. The data center was denied by the board. I don't know why. It could have been a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, because of the Rutgers students and
you know
older
why,
community.
because you were there. I don't know why. I wasn't there. Why was it denied? It's probably because they didn't supply or give enough information and the board saw that this was not a fit. I don't know, but I do know this. Prior to that happening, that parcel, that land, had to be either divided, subdivided, or an approved use for them to even come in with an application. And that's all we're doing here tonight. If
why
it's
do
an
they-
approved use for an application, that's all we're doing, sir. We're not approving anything,
It was
except that,
denied.
if
Okay.
that happens.
It was denied because all the Rutgers students plus the New Brunswick residents opposed to it.
Right.
So they think, no, build your data center in the in the desert, so nobody get bothered. And here is concerned the property value of the resident nearby, not necessarily only Kenilworth, the Union, Roselle Park, all in close by, and so many small business around, and the electric bill will go up, and the local geological factor, I'm not sure if it's been not necessarily contamination, but the heat generated. Where do you get it loose? You have to vaporize in the air, or you use how to call it, heat pump to get into the groundwater. So where does the heat go?
When that time comes,
yeah,
you ask those questions and they will be able to be answered, because that's the forum in which you can ask those questions.
I'm happy to hear that what you said. That means we are not yet too far gone.
We're not there.
Thank you.
We're here. Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? And I say that, sir, with respect. I try to say it with respect, that we're not there yet, we're here. You know what I'm saying, sir?
Good evening, this is Ray Reynolds, I live in...
Can I just interrupt 1 second?
Yes, sir.
Sir, people in the back, sir, we have a microphone and a camera there and it's going through. Thank you. Sir?
This is Ray Reynolds, I live in Roselle Park. I live very near, 2 houses away from Kenilworth. And I previously lived in Kenilworth for 15 years. And last summer, around the end of September, my wife was very upset. She heard a loud sound. And we drove around looking for the source of what it was. And it was the property in question. And I recorded it, and I just want to play it. Now this sound, you can hear in Roselle Park, and I recorded this off Galveston Road. It's what you were, and it was, I'm probably saying expletives on the recording, but it was quite a shocking thing to hear, and it's something that if any neighbor of mine did things like that, we think of them as a bad neighbor. And it just, in my take, this company, whatever they're doing there, they're a bad neighbor. And I understand, you have your criteria, and hopefully at the next session, we'll be able to address this. Thank you.
We will. Can I ask you a question there, sir?
Yes, sir.
That sound that you heard, did that happen one time or every night?
It happened several times, and then it was almost like, what is this sound? Is it the parkway? Is it, and then finally we got in the car and drove around looking for it. It was several nights in a row. And I must say that I don't think I've heard it since. But it was some kind of a release that was happening. It was like a giant pressure cooker that if you've ever cooked with a pressure cooker, it has
Not very well, but yes.
Right, so it was like that on this giant scale, and there was a cloud of possibly steam coming up, which is also on the recording. And it was a very shocking thing to see, and it makes you wonder, like, what is that? The place used to be a pharmaceutical plant. So,
did you ever hear or see that when it was a pharmaceutical plant?
Well, I used to live, actually, I grew up in Union, off of Washington Avenue. And I never saw anything like that. You smelled some terrible smells coming from it. But I've lived in this area my whole life. And this is like the coup de grace.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time, sir. Ma'am, you were already up, ma'am?
I think I can show you what he's talking about.
Yeah, but can we just wait a while for that? But I appreciate it, but I want to be fair to the others.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who has not spoken from the public? Please.
Chairman, perhaps we can take a 5-minute recess.
You want to do that now? Yeah. Ma'am, would you mind so much if the board took a 5-minute recess?
Okay.
Please. I guess you know why. Motion.
Yes, a motion for the board to take a 5-minute recess.
Motion made by Mr. David, seconded by Mayor Karlovich. All in favor? A few more minutes. No. That's what I'm. Yeah. I could go. Somebody did. Yep. We're just waiting for Kathy. We're just waiting for our secretary to come in here, and then we'll get it back underway. sorry.
I'll make a motion to reconvene the meeting.
Motion made by Mr. David, second by Mr. Mazzio. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are still in the public portion. Can we see, by a show of hands, how many more people would like to come up in this public session before I ask the woman in the back and the other lady to come up, because that would end our public portion. I just want to see how many we have. Ma'am?
I'd like to go, but it will be my second time.
Well, I'm only going to allow 2 people, so you figure on who did this. We had one come up already. We went against the grain. We're trying to accommodate. If you would like to share your information with another person, that would be fine. But after this session's over, I have the lady that's by the door, and I saw another lady who wanted to show me her camera. Where is that lady? Is she still here? If you want to yield to someone else, we're going to take 2 of whoever is here. Show of hands who have not come up. Okay. All right. We are open. Whoever wants to come up first that has not been up here, please come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Please.
My name is Christine Burgell, Kenilworth, New Jersey. I think a lot of questions that I had have been addressed, but the common theme that probably really strikes me the most is a lot of people seem to have been taken by surprise. So I did a little due diligence, saw an article. Mayor Karlovich, there was actually some quotations from you, and I guess one of the things with Merck, it's gone. And there's something within the quote that, you know, we're building for the future. My question is, because right now the future, I'm getting more and more concerned, scared what the future would be with this AI center. What does my town council think the future is going to be with an AI center? When you're hearing everything about concerns about cost, concerns about the environment, and it's not just in Kenilworth, it's all over the country, but I know we're talking about Kenilworth now, but we can't help but absorb outside information for me to learn, because I know nothing about, I don't know what a closed loop cooling system is. I don't, continuous use of local water, I don't really know what that means. Does that mean you use water, you recycle it? So I'm hoping that we can get educated by our town council, but I would like to know what you think the future would be with an AI center.
You're asking the board what
Yes.
we think the future would be?
Yes.
We're not the council. We're
You're the
not.
planning board, but what does the planning board think the future is?
I can't voice an opinion in the position that I'm in at this point, because I have to listen to the case that's in front of me and the ones that may come at a later date. So I can't voice an opinion, because then I would have to recuse myself from the board because I made a statement. We've had some issues like that where board members may have said, I like this, I don't like this, and well, you've already drawn a conclusion. And we have to stand on the evidence and the testimony that's brought to us at that particular time. So I am certainly not evading your question. I'm telling you why I can't answer the question.
Okay, but one comment, and then I will be done, is Kenilworth did I can use an example of the snowstorms we had. I knew when to put my garbage out another day. I knew when to put my recycling. My mailbox gets flooded, and everybody else's when a council somebody wants to be elected to serve their community. Maybe our mailboxes should have been flooded with information, just like when somebody wants our votes, because nobody should be caught unaware of something. I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much.
You make good points, and thank you very much. Was there someone else who hasn't been heard? I think the gentleman in the back was first, sir, if you don't mind. Oh, he goes first? Okay. Please come up.
May I use my time to this new deputy?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
May I use my time to?
No, sir.
No. No.
Really?
No, sir.
There's a gentleman that needs to speak first.
Of course, that gentleman. After that.
Can we let this gentleman finish first?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, council. My name is Pedro Shamazu. I've been a resident of Kenilworth since I was 4. I just have a question based on the response you gave to the previous one. You had stated that you can't give a response or a statement yourselves. I would just like to know when we can ask the council about this project that is being approved.
I'm going to answer that. First of all, we are not the council, we're not the governing body, we are the planning board.
Okay.
We work under different rules and guidelines. Pardon me, it's been a long night. When the woman asked about, the question that she asked is, what was my opinion? My opinion is not what's important here. It's, I can't speak to that. If you're asking me when you could speak to this or when you can ask the questions, if and when the applicant comes back before us and he has to file an application, you will have another forum just like this where people could ask the questions that you are trying to ask tonight that we can't ask because we're here for a major subdivision. I hope that answered it. It didn't? You want me to be more clear?
Yes.
Okay. My opinion does not matter because I can't voice my opinion because I can't lean to one side or another. I can't say I like it or I hate it because then I would already have a position, and that's not fair to the applicant, nor is it fair to the borough. So I have to remain neutral until I hear all the facts, the board hears all the facts, and then we decide what we need to do at that particular point. I hope that cleared it up.
Is there any, do you guys have any idea as to when that would happen?
So I'm going to say there is no idea when that's going to happen because no application has been filed at this point. If and when an application is filed, then a notice will go out, it'll be on the website, you will see it from there. But no, I cannot give you that answer because there's no application.
And would this board be able to provide that information to the town of Kenilworth?
The board will follow the Roberts rule of our body, which would mean that we will have the secretary send notice in the 200-foot radius, as we always do. And in addition to that, it'll be on the website, and it'll be on, is that right, the website? Or I don't want to say social media, it'll be on the website. So that's what we are required to do. But I'm sure that the 200 people in the radius will inform other people and also help to get the message out. But that's what we are required to do as our planning board body.
Okay. Thank you, that's all my question.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. Can I ask, are you, oh, you have something?
No.
You left? Okay. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Because when I call this second lady up, in fairness, I'm closing the meeting to the public after I see you, okay? Is that fair to everyone out there? We're following, yes?
I have a couple objections.
You have a couple of what?
Objections or legal questions for you.
You have a legal, did you come up and speak yet?
I did briefly, yes.
You did?
I'd like
Okay.
to speak again.
Okay, so I don't know how to answer that, ma'am. Maybe the attorney can help me, but
Yes, sir.
I am going to make an exception tonight to hear the lady in the rear. Please, come on. No, you were second. I think she was first, and then we heard everybody. I want to give everybody a fair chance. If we didn't hear somebody, tell me now, please. Ma'am?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Annette Diamandopoulos from Cranford, New Jersey. There are just some questions that came up after listening to the conversations and to some of your responses. And I would like some clarification, please, as it, I think it pertains to this subdivision. I guess my first question is, being a resident of Cranford, I wasn't privy to any information. I understand that, and I did see the mayor's post. But now that I think about it, I feel that there's some conflict of interest. That in the post it was clear that there was a $1.8 billion welcoming of a data center, yet we're here just talking about subdivision. It just doesn't, something's not sitting right, and I was wondering if the attorney could possibly clarify that for me, because they just doesn't seem right. I don't have the legal ease to say why, but there's something that doesn't sit right, that you would be making a decision tonight and not pausing, considering such a conflict. You just mentioned, Mr. Is it Paserno or Pacerno?
Richard Pacerno.
That, you don't want to appear biased, but these two things were put together. So I'm just curious if you can respond to that or offer clarification.
No problem. The applicant had a choice. They could have come in one complete package, which some people do, which is a subdivision with an actual site plan, which shows what they're building, what they're proposed to build, and then that's a fuller, more in-depth hearing on all the issues that everyone's really concerned with, right? Traffic, noise, operation, water, electrical, all of that is all part of the fuller application. The law also permits someone to just come in and cut that in half or bifurcate it and just put an application in for the subdivision. So the subdivision application is what was given to the board to move on, and that's what's there. With regard to the data center and all the reports, the data center and other types of uses were approved in a redevelopment plan. So the use of the data center, or the use of a property as a data center or warehouse or other commercial research labs, as we started to go through the 15 different uses that were permitted, or what is permitted there as a permitted use.
Okay, I appreciate the explanation, and I don't mean to be contradictory. It's just I did watch the video, and they made it very clear that they wanted to expand, and it seems to me that this is some sort of strategy to divide us and keep us from seeing some information. I'm not saying that's your intention, but it seems to be clear to me. Okay.
I can't.
I know you can't speak for them.
I can't speculate with
Okay.
prejudge meeting in the
Okay.
board as to the motivations behind why they chose this particular path as a subdivision. I did speculate a little bit before where I said, sometimes there's finance reasons, financial reasons.
They're pretty rich people. They can afford. They made that very clear how big they are, and they were pounding their chests, and so they made it clear in that meeting that they wanted to expand, and so I'm asking you to pause. It seems so bizarre to me that you would be forced to make a decision tonight. My second question is, and it was offered by someone else, is if you do not vote tonight, or if you vote no. My question is, if you vote no tonight, is there any legal consequences for Kenilworth? Is there a violation of any contract or legality signed by the town with this particular business?
So as I was trying to say earlier, any applicant that receives a no vote or a result that they do not like has the opportunity to appeal that to a judge in the Superior Court. And the judge will look at the same body of law and the same rules and regulations that govern this court. And you need a basis, right, to make for the denial. It cannot be what the phrase is, arbitrary and capricious, which essentially means that it's not just because the board doesn't like it. Hence why the chairman and the full board are very cautious to say what they personally think.
Understood.
Right? It's like being a juror, a
Understood.
judge or a jury. I might not like what's going on, but I have rules I have to apply.
Is it arbitrary if it's put in the contract that you have to say yes, or if
There
it's
is no contract
no
here
contract?
that says that this board has to vote.
Okay, okay, thank you.
No problem.
Another question about bifurcating or, separating these divisions, dividing it. Apologies. I just found out that it's a flood zone. Coming from Cranford, we're highly sensitive to flooding, and I wanted to know what the ramifications are for dividing a flood zone, and if it's possible to subdivide a flood zone in this manner.
So the subdivision has no limitations on a flood zone.
It doesn't.
Right?
There's
It's the
nothing.
building within a flood zone. It's
Okay.
not the drawing of lot lines.
Mhm.
Right? There are some people actually subdivide, get rid of the flood zone and make it its own separate lot, do other things. So whether or not it's in the flood zone or not in the flood zone is not a basis whether to subdivide.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And then very lastly, because I know you're all very taxed today, and we really appreciate that you open this up in this way. I just want to offer this again because I did watch, in the past. And one of you asked about the decibel levels. I heard you, and there was a gentleman with some map, and he's like, oh yes, we're within the parameters of 50 decibels in the evening and 65 during the day. But no one asked the ramifications of what that does to your health. And so I want you to pause, and I want everyone to, if you haven't done this study or looked into this, I want you to understand that long-term exposure to 50 decibel noise environment is recognized by the health authorities as a chronic, low-level stressor that can cause significant health problems over time. The individuals that are most affected are our children, our parents, the elderly, and individuals that have health issues. These issues that are accelerated include cardiovascular disease, mental health disorders, cognitive decline, metabolic issues caused by the chronic disruption of sleep, which can also lead to obesity and diabetes, and immune system dysfunction. As someone who studies neuroscience, I can tell you that everything is connected. So I'm just going to take my moment. I'm going to thank you again, but please pause. Doesn't this give you pause? If you don't know this already, don't you want to know more before you subdivide? Because we know they want to expand, and all of this will be expanded. I mean, that is the nature, right? If we multiply 2 by 2, it becomes 4. So everything that is already going to happen with this data center will be exponentially increased. Please consider that, and I thank you very much for your time and your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for coming out. I don't think that was the lady. I think it was the lady with the phone, correct?
You said I can refuse to let someone else go.
Who said that?
You did.
I did? Oh. I'm sorry, the hour.
Good.
Pardon me.
Hi. So I was up before.
I remember.
Yeah, and I kind of asked a question of what we committed to, and nobody could really give me an answer. So somebody handed me, no disrespect for anything, but Linda's post that we are proud to welcome a $1.8 billion investment by CoreWeave to develop a state-of-the-art AI facility on this site. So is that one of them, or is that all? Did you give into one or 4 of the splits, or how is this being incorporated into this? Since we are proud to welcome the investment. So I'm just curious.
So, Mr. DeMarco, I think you said with the last person that was up that this was part of a redevelopment, or I think Mr. Mazzi, somebody said that?
Correct. Yeah, this is part of the redevelopment plan that would permit what you just read, which was the $1.8 billion AI center. The application does not lay out where that or what in that property, where it's laid out, or what type of buildings, or what they look. That is.
You don't know the acreage or anything on what they're taking
No,
over the subsidiaries?
All we know is the acreage of the 4 subdivided lots.
So they're taking one of them for now with this, I guess.
I
Nobody
don't.
knows, like, we wanted it though, so I was just curious.
You're putting two different things together. So, there's a subdivision.
Yeah.
Of 4 lots.
Right.
There's an article or a statement that says what they want to build.
Okay.
They can build that, and we don't know yet because they haven't submitted their plans yet.
Right.
On 2 of the 4 lots, 3 of the 4 lots, all 4 lots, 1 of the 4 lots, right? So I can't answer that, and there is no commitment to what the actual layout, size, scope, how big, how it operates, how the water system works, how the electrical system works. That plan and application has not been submitted to this board to be reviewed and to be considered.
So nothing's been approved then? So we're kind of in the air, we're
What?
not, like they're doing all that PSEG work around us and ripping up all the streets
So
and putting all
that
these
is on a
lines in?
different,
But that's for them.
but it's on a different block and lot, right? It's not-
Yeah,
it's
but
not-
it's,
You asked the question.
Yeah.
Okay. That, the SEG development is on a different block and lot.
Okay.
It's not one of these 4.
okay.
Okay? These 4, there is a redevelopment plan that lists 15 permitted uses. What that means is in like a residential neighborhood, you can do a 1-family, 2-family, or 3-family, right? So if you do 3 uses. In commercial or retail, they will list multiple uses. So there's a redevelopment plan that was approved by the municipality last year that lists 15 potential uses. So a combination of those 15, one of those 15 can be put on any of these 4 lots, once they're subdivided, if they're subdivided. Where they put them, what they put them, how big they are, what they look like, how they operate, is the subject of another type of application, which is a site plan. So, they're permitted as a use, one of the uses is a data center, right? But to answer your question, I could not say to you that where it's going or what, that commitment does not exist.
Could that be null and void, that decision? Like, could this all go away?
We are not allowed to prejudge that because that case, that matter has not been put here. So that's why the board, it's frustrating, it's really, really frustrating, right? But it is similar to a judicial case or a hearing in court. The judge is limited to the case, the testimony, and what the person is there for. Not for the other stuff that they might have done or they're going to do next week or anything else. This board operates in that same type of capacity. An application came in, they have to look at the application. Not whether or not they personally like it or not, whether they think about it, but whether or not it meets the requirements of the local zoning, state requirements, whatever, DEP, stormwater, all those things. This board is tasked with doing that. The challenge is a subdivision, the bar for that is really low. You just take a lot, you go, you can make the lots permittable sizes. When you have a big piece of property, like a 40-acre parcel, it's really easy to subdivide. Because it's 10 acres, 7 acres, 8 acres, right? It could have been 11 acres, 6 acres, 5 acres. That's a low bar. The higher bar that you're all chomping at the bit at, and I respect that, is when they come in to say, this is what I want to do with those 10 acres or 7 acres.
They're gonna group it and just take it all over.
They may.
It'd just be massive mess.
They may,
Yeah.
or they can come in pieces and we'll deal with it as it comes in. But that's,
My concern is too, is my property value, because who's gonna wanna live next door to that? I'm like a quarter mile away from this monstrosity that's blowing like a nuclear, I couldn't believe what was coming out of that. I'm like, so how many times is that gonna happen? The noise hasn't started yet, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, nobody's gonna wanna live near this. So what's gonna happen to people with their homes? Like, if I wanna retire and sell my home, they're like, I don't wanna live next to that. Because there's several towns that deny this, like banned it, like get out of my town.
But there's
And
a,
I don't understand like how it
there's a-
went really smooth here.
there's a process and right, one question was asked, what happens if you say no to a court? Traditionally, courts send it back or say you can't do it, right? So there are a lot of cases where people do not like religious institutions are starting to be built because people who moved in pray to a different God or things of that nature. So 7 years ago, meetings like this were dealt with whether or not somebody was putting a temple in or a mosque in or things of that nature. And some of them were said no after action, and they wound up in court. And judges were like, hey, there's a process, there's rules, there's case law. It needs to be done in a process. If you want to deny something, you have to state valid reasons. You have to have the basis for it. It has to make sense. Right? You can't just say you don't like it. That's the system that's laid out in New Jersey. That's the process.
I mean, I get there's a lot of factual things that are wrong with these AI areas. I mean,
We're
so
not
this-
there yet.
So that's what I'm saying. So they vote. So what are you voting on?
On whether or not there should be one lot or 4 lots.
So it's already a done deal with these people coming in, whether it's 1 or 4.
They know
I mean,
how.
that's
No,
a given.
that's the application that hopefully.
Because
get
we
voted on in
are
the next
welcoming.
15 minutes.
So I was just wondering, we are welcoming a 1.8 billion investment. So this is false then, I guess.
That is not part of the testimony that was given today.
Okay, I think I have to step in. I think Mr. DeMarco answered all your questions. And I think we gave you a second chance.
It's actually a third.
Third.
Second.
Yeah, well, she.
One at a time.
You're so memorable.
So-
Yeah, right.
I think we did the best we could to try to answer all your questions. And I was smiling, excuse me, ma'am, I was smiling at the lady in the back who raised her hand before, who gave over your thing.
It has to do with what she was saying, because I live on Vernon Ave, and it's a 2-second video. Like, it's not, I'm not gonna ask them any questions, I just wanna show you what the video is that I took, that I've been here 25 years, and I've never seen this before.
How do we even know if it's real?
Yeah, what do you want to do, ma'am?
So show you the video that I took from my house to what's coming out of Merck, that I've been here 26 years, and I've never seen this before in 26 years, which led me to take the videos.
Chair, not
sorry?
to distress or disrespect Fred, but that really has no bearing on this. I mean, we're at a point in time where.
Are we at general comments? Because when I called, Kathy said we were gonna be talking about subdivide, and then you'll call for general comment. So that's why I didn't speak up in regards to this. Everyone else kind of openly shared about the AI data center, so I was waiting for general comments.
Well, we have combined the two.
I didn't know that. If that's possible, can I?
So you want to make a comment?
I would love to.
I'm not going to deny you. Oh, you've been up here before, though.
Yes, but I was up in regards to the subdivision parts. When I called, Kathy said there's parts about
Listen,
subdivision.
I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. Go right ahead.
Thank you so
All right?
much.
Okay, so,
These are comments now, right?
Comments, I promise.
Go ahead.
So when I got here, it was 6:30, and this was before the AC was on, but there was like a very low, annoying hum, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a headache just sitting here. So shout out to putting on the AC, it's cooler, but that hum is louder. I'm very sensitive in that regard. A lot of us have seen the video in Vineland, New Jersey, about their data center, about that low hum. I can't imagine being close to that place. So that's why Kenilworth, hearing about that, this potentiality of it being here, was like, oh my god, I gotta go today. I don't even know what I'm gonna say, but here I am. So I also wanted to say that I grew up in the 90s, so technology has constantly advanced and changed from rotary phones to cordless phones to the Nokia brick phones to Blackberries to simply now Apple or Android. I remember AOL dial-up, DirecTV, TiVo, all these things. It's like we're living in the Jetsons now. Like I can heat up my oven with a voice command. I don't want it, yet it's here, so what's next? I realized that there's the New Jersey Next program that gave, according to online, according to AI, LOL, that the state of New Jersey gave $250 million tax credit to CoreWeave for this center in Kenilworth. It's just unsettling because I grew up watching, you know, you stay up late at night and then you see the commercials come on or whatever, the infomercials, And one of the things that I saw was like, don't live near power lines. It's bad for your health, blah, blah, blah. I remember that because I was a night owl. So I always saw that on TV as a kid. And then like now seeing it as an adult, it's like, oh, is this our version of power lines? You know, the data centers coming up, and it's said that in the state of New Jersey, we're gonna be in the top 5 for AI infrastructure, which is scary because between Vineland, Williamstown, and Kenilworth, I didn't think this would be so close, like one of the previous gentlemen said. I didn't think it would be like in my backyard. So, you know, just in that regard, you know, saying like, don't live near power lines. And now here we are in 2026, there's apartment buildings under power lines and on top of contaminated lands. I realize my being here may seem a little of a waste of time as a deal is already done. However, within a 30-mile radius, I feel like everyone in this area should be concerned for their health, for their sleep, for their water and electricity usage and property value. I think there should be more people here. I think we should be here even later. I'm thankful for you letting me say these last comments, but I think this should be a bigger concern than what it is. It was said it'll bring in 140 jobs, yet right now there's 71 teaching jobs available in Kenilworth alone. We don't need this, you know, and it's likely those jobs more than likely will go to people that are already working for CoreWeave. You know, going to be remote workers from like Tahiti. They're not going to be Kenilworth residents. So I ask that you reconsider this rapid data center and put an ordinance in place for traditional warehouses as they did in Williamstown. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody being here because our voices do matter. So shout out to you guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, that now concludes the public portion. I'm sorry?
No, I was making a motion to close the public.
Okay. The motion was made by Mr. Ladati, and seconded by Mr. Mazzio. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, the board has heard everything from our professionals, the public, and it is now a determining factor of what we do up here. We have heard the public, and we've heard the public loud and clear. So, Mr. Hell, can you help us out here a little bit? One of the things that were constant in the public portion was, don't you ask what's going on with the 4 lots? And what are they doing there? So I was speaking from the board level that that's not what we do. We don't ask that. I guess it might help the public for me to ask you, do you know what is going on there, or can you explain to help us understand what you may know about the subdivision?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the board professionals and staff, and the members of the public for their time and efforts this evening and the concerns that were expressed. As far as the applicant/owners of the property, they looked at the redevelopment plan, looked at the what could be done insofar as the subdivision, and created the subdivision plan, which was testified to, that meets all of the criteria under the redevelopment plan and under the applicable zoning ordinances. As far as what may occur in the future, if that point comes, as aptly noted by both the board and council, we would be back before this board for a presentation. But again, the subdivision was done to meet, as your board professionals indicated, all of the criteria under the redevelopment plan. And again, to emphasize what you indicated as chair, council indicated, and the board members, if there's future development of this site, we would be back before this board on notice and the like. So, and just reiterating, it is a totally conforming subdivision under a well-crafted redevelopment plan, and the applicant worked within the parameters of that.
Thank you, Mr. Hale.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And again, just to indicate that we would request that the board grant the application again, because it's totally conforming, as council has indicated and indicated by the board, and as confirmed by your professionals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Okay, Members of the board, our professionals, Darren, Mika, Joe, do you have anything to add to this here tonight before the board makes their decision?
Not so much in this decision, but for any future applications, I know Joe said to check the website once a month. Just so everybody's aware, the planning board is every Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month. So you should probably check like about 7 to 10 days before the last Tuesday of the month, just so everybody knows when to look for the information, if there's any future information out.
Okay. Good? Okay. So, on the floor, we heard the major subdivision, we heard from the public. It's been a long night, and we hear what you're saying. However, we are here to vote on a subdivision that's before us that that meets all the criteria as in their testimony. Is there someone to make a motion to approve or deny this application the way it's been presented?
Postpone.
I'm sorry?
You postpone.
Oh, I didn't, I thought somebody from up here that I saw you.
Postpone your decision.
I make a motion to approve this.
The motion is made by Mr. Clementi to approve this application. Is there a second? Second, did you get that? Who was that? Oh, okay. So it was motion made by Mr. Clementi, second by you, right? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Karlovic?
Yes.
Mr. Paterno?
Yes.
Mr. Scarice?
Yes.
Mr. David?
Yes.
Mr. Clementi?
Yes.
Mr. Maggio?
Yes.
Mr. Ladowdy?
Yes.
Mr. Crinkle?
Okay, the application has been approved.
Big surprise.
Thank you again for your time this evening.
You're welcome. I'm sorry?
Both them
Take a
out.
moment. Yeah. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're good. We could wrap up. No. That's it. Let's just. Just wait. Yeah, just wait here because we are.
Yes.
We're gonna wait for them to exit, so.
I'm going to take a picture of the map. If I can. Shameful.
Have a good night. Thank you for coming out. Thank you. Just for the board, just for the board members, the people are exiting, so we're just going to hold off a couple minutes because we can't hear one another. We're going to have comments. Yeah, we're going to do that, but we can't hear one another while they're exiting. Excuse me, folks out there. Our meeting is still going and recording. If you stay, you can stay, but we need to either exit or we have to keep it down because this is all being recorded. Okay? This is now just us closing the meeting. Is there any comments for the good of the board?
I don't know if anybody heard you, Rich. I'm safe.
That's for us, right? Yeah. Okay. For the board members, are there any comments
Mr. Scarice?
Board members,
Board members?
we're still in session.
Is there any comments for the good of the board? Anyone? No? No board members? Okay. Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out.